My fellow Egisons, I have come to inform thee that a new Friday is upon us. And it starts now. Now.
I appreciate the energy and the idea, but if Friday be only upon us right noweth, that means it's 19 hours ago and we still have to work again.
Fine, I shall change it. My fellow Egisons, I have come here to inform thee that the weekend is now upon us.
Praise
Now.
be! Praise be! You get the idea. Welcome in, everybody. A triple huzzah! Exactly. Psycho Person being second, Dark Lord, nice. Third, it's always nice to spite Skinner.
Always
It's something
is.
I enjoy doing too.
Best way to start your weekend.
Welcome in, everybody. How are you all doing? Dark Lord, I'm always happy to see you. Today, I'm extra happy to see you.
What's the special occasion today?
Hurricane Helene or Helene or however you guys decided to call it over in the USA. Because I believe Dark Lord mentioned that you guys live in Florida. And whenever I hear hurricane, it's like, I don't live...
The mom lived in Florida.
That was... not a nuts. I swear you mentioned Florida once and that confused me because... It's probably pretty weird for my horrible parents. Oh, fuck them, right?
We're probably mixing all things up there.
Dark Lord, I'm always happy to see you. I'm extra happy to see you now because you've escaped your horrible parents and you left them in Florida. Where it's wet and warm, and I don't think I would like the weather much either. See, what an attempt at saving myself.
It's okay.
That's what happens if you just have certain clues and then you put them together in the wrong way. This is why we're so amazing at detective games. Didn't the last part of Ace Attorney took us like half a year? With all the psh psh and the...
Oh yeah, I remember we got stuck there.
Just saying.
There was something that we skipped, but I don't remember what it was anymore.
We skipped nothing. We did all of it.
No, but I mean we were stuck because there's something we didn't do, and then
Yes.
after running back and forth
Yes.
for like an hour, we finally found out there was a spot where we still had to do the psh psh or something.
Yes, we had specifically not played the game in the way that you would play old NES games, for example, where you just try everything on every screen in every possible combination, because there were no clues.
Oh, it felt like we did that.
Just saying. The line of the power goes out since it's pretty inland. Yeah, I actually just checked the hurricane map before the stream because after last stream, people mentioning that that was happening, I had no idea. Like that didn't make the news in Germany.
I also didn't hear a single thing about it. I mean, I don't watch the news, but I usually get like snippets on certain platforms like Reddit or something.
But I looked it up yesterday, looked it up again before the stream. Apparently it's now a tropical storm, pretty far up north from the coast. So I guess it's still not good, but you know, tropical storm has a more friendly ring than a category 4 or even 5 hurricane, because those break things. Oh. Thank you for the 7-stream streak. Something you can't skip is Tatarigoroshi, the curse killing arc.
Watch me.
Okay, about that end stream.
We're not actually playing that today.
Yeah, actually, we just came here to say hi, everybody. Please stay safe, or we hope you have stayed safe. You know, the things you do when there's a tropical storm / hurricane. And we're calling the weekend early, so good night.
Came here to wish you a happy weekend, and now it's time to go to bed. I would not mind.
What a surprise! Yes, stream's over after 5 minutes. Bye. No.
Yeah, we gotta keep some surprises in. I mean, it's been like 4 years. There's nothing we can still really do to surprise people at this point, probably.
There's plenty we could do. There's plenty we could do. A lot I wouldn't do. Like, you're not gonna get a yoga stream from me where the camera is aimed at my crotch. I know that's a thing on Twitch.
I thought that was for our 5-year anniversary stream.
No, sorry, I'm gonna say no to that.
I shall make a community goal.
Do you want to see Jack's crotch while he's working out? No. And if you do, seek help. I do have something set up. I've talked to you about this. I even made the thumbnail already during the last vacation.
During the last vacation?
Yeah, I talked to you about this.
Probably,
I haven't bought the thing for it yet, but everything else is set up.
Without knowing what we talked about, I don't really know.
Sorry,
now
not knowing what we talked about, not remembering.
Yeah.
Why do you not listen to me when I tell you things?
Well, when I hear the topic, I probably know, but now it's like, oh, I talked to you about something 6 months ago.
Okay, fair. We do talk quite a lot to each other.
Like,
I showed you the thumbnail I made.
yeah, but you show me every thumbnail you make.
It's a thumbnail for something we haven't done yet. The rest we've done by now.
But you also work in advance and you've made thumbnails for games we haven't played at all yet.
It's not for a game. I cannot further discuss this on stream because that would be giving the surprise away. And I don't know when we're gonna happen to be doing it. So.
Could be in 3 years from now. Could be next month.
Yeah, every time I start working on something and I'm thinking, I'll have this done by Christmas. Something happens and I'm like, yeah, later. And then sometimes things just go, let's do this next week, and it just all falls into place.
It is how it is.
That's life for us. A tropical storm is more or less a heavy thunderstorm unless you live on the coast. Okay, fair enough.
Well, that already sounds much better.
I mean, the worst that happens every now and then in Germany is that there's a flooding because heavy rains, and then it's the areas near bigger rivers usually, which, spoilers, I mean, we don't talk about where we live, but we don't live near a river. That's 80% of the country still. I think a couple of years ago, I remember, I want to say like 10 years ago or so, there was a Jahrhundertflut, as they call it. One of the biggest rivers in Germany was completely, what's the word when the water gets really high? Or tall? Can water get high? I mean, if you
throw enough weed in it.
I was thinking the same thing, but I don't think that's how it works.
I don't think water gets tall either.
Yeah, but in German it can.
Rises.
That's the word I was looking for. The water rose way above where it should be and drowned quite a bit of land. Like, infrastructure was down, trains couldn't run because the train tracks were swimming away. Stuff like that. Happened a while ago, and I want to say 4 years ago we had a similar thing in the west of the country, the Rheintal, I think.
Don't remember.
Where, again, heavy rains caused a flooding and massive destruction in one town in particular. I forgot the name.
I think that was more than 4 years ago.
What?
I think that was more than 4 years ago.
It happened shortly before the last elections. So I think it was 4 years ago. I think that was 2019? It doesn't matter. A couple of years ago. Similar things happen over here, but not quite the same. We don't get tropical storms, hence I don't have any first-hand experience. And so far we have never been to a country that experiences tropical storms. I kind of want to, not because I'm like one of those storm chasers or whatever that go to these places and oh look, a hurricane, let's drive into it. That's what Tifa would do. But in Asia, for example, during monsoon season, where it's almost
super,
if not actually non-stop raining for 3 months.
We can do that once.
The thing is, I think I would enjoy it for 2 days and then I would be miserable.
Probably then we go towards the end. And then hope you have a couple of days before it's gone.
The problem is, I don't think they put the storms put or the monsoon season has dates. Are you good?
I triggered myself.
Talking about rain makes Tifa flinchingly yawn. Everybody has their necks, right? First of all, I don't think there's like a calendar that tells you, oh, monsoon season will be over at that point, like on that day. Don't think it works like that.
No, but like months. Just go
for 6 months and hope 2 of them will be dry. Also,
It's between certain times usually.
I don't think I want to fly into anywhere during monsoon. Because I will be dying in that airplane.
Regardless.
Yeah, but still. No, I don't want to fly during heavy weather occurrences.
I also don't think you'll be flying to any of those places anytime soon because the distance is a bit further than 3 hours.
That's true. Monsoon season is a period more than it is a date. Exactly, Tifa. Thank you. Explain that to her. Just take the train. If I could get around the entire world by train, I 100% would. The problem is that we don't have high-speed rail networks all over the world. Like I once looked at taking the Trans-Siberian railways. So like from Germany to Moscow and then like to the most eastern end of Russia. I think Vladivostok is where it terminates. But that journey is like 8 days. And I understand that the country, like the distance is massive. And I think I would survive being confined for 8 days in a train, but it's so slow.
You probably have really nice views.
Yeah, but I could also fly for like 10 hours and get to the same destination.
Yeah,
I mean, now I'm not going to Russia at all for obvious reasons, but you know what I mean.
Yeah, but I don't think people go into this train and go, hey, I'm going from beginning of the line to end of the line. You probably just take it for a couple of stops.
I don't know. I've never been. Don't think I ever will.
Well, now definitely is not a good time, no.
I'm too not straight to travel Russia. I don't want to go to Russia for... I mean, that part I've got down. I just... I'm not a fan of the government, so... I don't want to go there.
Right now might not be the best time.
Yeah. I kind of envy my grandparents who went like a decade ago.
Way more than a decade ago.
Was it longer?
Those pictures were like 30 years old.
No, they went in the 2000s. Somewhere in the last 24 years.
If anything, beginning 2000s.
I don't recall.
Because they looked way younger on those pictures.
I don't recall.
Definitely beginning 2000s, if anything.
I couldn't even tell you, I just realized that.
You can ask her tomorrow.
I might have a mild form of prosopagnosia because Tifa has a point. In the pictures of my grandparents during that trip, you can see that they look younger than my grandmother does now. Looks now. But I don't see that. Like if you point it out to me, I understand that. But to me, my grandparents just kind of look the way they've always have.
Yeah, that's normal.
Yeah.
But if you see the picture, you'll know that was way long ago.
You just always need to hold it against the person. Like,
I haven't seen him in a while.
Younger.
As in the pictures.
That's true.
My town isn't flooded yet, so I'll stay here. That's a good reason.
If you don't have a reason to move, no need to move. Yeah. I've got photos of them meeting Yeltsin. That would be really cool, actually. Actually, would it be? I don't know enough about Boris Yeltsin from the top of my head to know how I would feel about this. Without any information, I think meeting any head of state would be generally a memorable moment. So, could be cool.
I guess, yeah.
Couldn't tell you anything about the guy. I remember the name, but...
I've seen the current king and queen of the Netherlands once.
As in, like, in the street, or you've shook hands with them, or?
No, I was the one who had to do the traffic... What do you call it?
You were a traffic conductor.
Yeah. I had to make all the cars go that way, so that the king and queen could go that way.
Did you volunteer or were you voluntold?
No, it was a uitzendbureau. What's
a temp agency?
Temp agency job. like 20 years ago.
But did they look specifically for people to direct the flow of traffic for the royal family, or did that just happen?
No, it was during King's Day once. Every King's Day, the royal family visits another town or village. And they came to one near my city.
Okay, so
they
you
were
knew
just
it
looking
was
for
likely
people.
to happen.
Yeah, they were looking for people.
Fair enough. Hello,
Also
Mommy.
nothing that interesting, really.
Hello, Mommy. Happy Friday. How are you doing?
My favorite cannibalistic dairy products.
I want to say only half of us is cannibalistic tendencies.
But if you're an egg, you eat eggs.
Okay, fair. I didn't think of it like this. Yeah, no.
You look at it that way. It's definitely the both of us.
Point taken. Yes. They came over for dinner. Hey, for all I know, that could happen. You know, not. While I generally have a disdain for royal families, because I don't believe in things like a monarchy. Like, I understand that there was a time and place for this, but I want to say we've moved on as people, that we need them. For all I know, I could have dinner with a stranger and that stranger turns out is a celebrity I just don't know or a member of a royal family. Like, it could happen. I was at a circus camp with a Belgian princess once. Wasn't from a crown family though.
At a circus camp?
Still. You...
That's an interesting place.
You went to circus camp with a Belgian princess. That is, I think, a perfect seed for a plot for a Netflix Christmas movie.
It kind of is, isn't it? Like the typical Christmas ones that come out every year.
If you've seen one Netflix Christmas movie, you've seen all of them. And they all are kind of like that. And no shame in that. They get the point across, you know, they're there to make you feel a certain way. And like that's cool and stuff. But guy goes to circus, like I can see the movie. And like it's just taking the idea. This is not you specifically, but guy just got broken up with his girlfriend. It's around Christmas. And then he decides
something new.
His friends are like, oh, you know, you need to put yourself out there, get out of your comfort zone, do something weird and crazy and wild. And then the guy goes, yeah, no, I'm not sure. I still need to process this. I just want to be sad for a bit. And then like they had this get together like in late November, early December, like near Christmas. Then he goes outside, closes the door of a house behind him, and suddenly this newspaper just flies in his face, like they do in movies and shows. And
exactly so, on this specific page.
Takes the newspaper thing, goes like, circus camp coming to town, and the dates, and then they go like, yeah, this is a sign from God. Fuck it, I'll just do it. And then they sign up, and then they go there, and then there's people, and then there's this girl, and that's the love interest, and like they really like circus camp, and then you have like the B plot.
But she's wearing like this headscarf and sunglasses.
At first, but then she looks like normal, like anyone else. You couldn't tell that she's like has a special background. But then you have a B plot. It's like a flashback to her being this Belgian princess, and where she's like, no, Dad, Mom, I don't want billions of euros. I just want to be normal for once. So she like runs away, like fake. There's like butlers and stuff following her, of course, for her safety, like Secret Service and stuff, I guess. But like she runs away and goes to circus camp because my stuck-up parents would never go to a circus that we haven't bought ourselves. And then they meet, and then the rest of the plot just happens. There.
One day we'll write a script and we'll act it out, make an own mini movie out of it, and we'll play every character.
I was gonna say every character has to be us, but with really bad like design. So it's always us. Clearly, it's us.
You get a fake mustache.
But that's for most of it. Like no wigs, no like contacts.
I can deal with bad wigs.
That's the point. It's super low quality. It's just us.
We can get some Temu wigs for like $5.
I feel like for $5 on that place you can get 12 of them. So speaks of a quality.
That could be a good deal.
Sorry, I kind of ran away with my thoughts there. The idea of... Thank you, Mommy. Thank you for like putting these thoughts into my head. Mwah.
One day we won't do a stream, but it's gonna be our movie.
Yeah.
It's gonna be our movie.
Mommy's Belgian Circus Camp Christmas Fiasco. Yes, I would watch that, 100%. I mean, now I'm producing it apparently. Co-producing it. But when will you have time to stream? I know, right? Yeah, it's... I guess we gotta make choices. The only famous people I met were made of wax. I visited Madame Tussauds in Berlin.
I've
never been.
Never been
to Madame Tussauds.
And I also don't think I will, because I don't really care that much about famous people anyway. But how was it?
Yeah, from your unbiased perspective, like, did you like it? Would you recommend it? Because I've seen those places, like I've seen pictures, and
some look so bad.
Some look really good though.
Yeah, but the majority looks really bad, and half of the people I don't even know.
Remember when they unveiled the wax figure of The Rock, and he looks like he was bleached?
I mean, that's part of the fun, I want to say. But...
Don't think that was a lighting issue, just saying.
Once some friends wanted to visit in Amsterdam, I was like, oh, fine, we can go. And then the ticket was like 25 or 30 bucks each.
It's probably even more now.
And I was like, yep, nope.
I mean, there's artistry to this. Like, I understand why they need the money to pay the artists to do this. I'm like, cool. But I don't want to see it enough to spend the price of admission on it. Does that make sense?
Yeah.
Some were very authentic, but you visit once and never again.
True.
Yeah, fair enough.
There also isn't a single famous person that I would like to meet. Like, that means socializing.
My problem is that basically in my life, every time I thought, hey, this person is cool, like this artist, this musician. Like, it takes like a year or two, and then we read horrible news about him, and I'm like, boy, am I glad I never went to a concert or anything like this. In a way, I'm super happy for the internet and the instant access to information at any given point, because, you know, people have cameras everywhere. People can share information everywhere.
But you also don't go to a concert to meet a famous person, by the way. At least I wouldn't. I'd go because I want to hear them live. For the whole shebang experience.
I don't really go to concerts unless Tifa takes me along, but I would go to a concert of a band or an artist if I really like them and I want to support them. And at that point, I guess I would also be okay with meeting them.
Yeah, but if not, then it's like, okay, fine.
Yeah, but then it's also things like...
wait at the gates for them.
You can pay for a meet and greet, you pay 250 bucks for the opportunity to take a selfie with them. It's like... Nah, that's not me. I don't think. So, oh well. Tifa, what's your best Belgian accent?
None. I can't do accents. None of them. I can do my own accent. Sometimes I do an accident... I do accents by accident, and then I don't know which one I'm doing.
You've heard her generalized European accent when she gets into it.
Because I can't do accents on purpose.
When her voice goes like kinda Scottish, but also not. Like it takes a turn to Irish, and then it's just this hodgepodge of Europe-ness.
I can do my own. And that's it.
What?
I can do my own accent.
Okay. And that's his? What?
That's this.
Oh, that's this. Yeah.
Wow.
Sorry, that was your accent.
Wow.
It's when Tifa tries to say third.
Third.
There you go. There. How much Flemish do you know?
None.
I don't know any Flemish either, at least not actively, but I can tell you that sometimes when I don't focus on speaking Dutch, when I speak Dutch, I do have a bit of a Belgian accent. Because I believe, from memory, one of the biggest differences between Belgian Dutch and Dutch Dutch is the G. Belgians, the ones I've heard at least, usually pronounce the G like a G. And Dutch is
it depends on where you are. I believe
Give me a word with a G sound in Dutch. Tief as exhaling.
Groot.
So, groot would be Dutch and groot would be Belgian.
No.
Yes, it would be.
No, it wouldn't.
Yeah, it would be.
No, it's not.
I'm sorry, are you Belgian?
Are you?
Yeah, more than you.
That is not Belgium.
If any of you speak Belgian, please tell us which one got it done better.
And besides, depending on the area you are in the Netherlands, I believe it's more in the north, I don't even remember, where you have
Friesland.
more of the hard G, and the south is more of a soft G. Could also be the other way around, I seriously don't remember. I also don't recognize accents from the Netherlands, to be honest.
Fake Dutch person.
Like sometimes here, or when there's a Dutch person or new Dutch person at work, it's like, oh, you are from Limburg, or you're from Rotterdam, I can tell. No, I don't hear the difference.
If you say so, I guess it must be true. Didn't think our stories about meeting celebrities would turn into me being the main character of a Christmas rom-com.
But it works perfectly.
Sometimes life just happens like that, Mommy. There's nothing you can do about it.
I've met George Clooney once. I think that's the most famous person I've ever met.
Are we talking about meeting or seeing?
Meeting.
You've met George Clooney.
I've met
You've
George
spoken
Clooney.
with him.
Yes.
Why do I think you've met a person who happens to also be named George Clooney and not actually George Clooney, Hollywood actor?
Jorge Clooney.
Yeah, for example.
No. It was when I still lived in London. I was once randomly aiming through the city.
Aiming through the city.
Walking through the city when...
Tifa just spoiled that she worked as an assassin in London.
When there was a music festival.
Mm-hmm.
And I walked into George Clooney.
How did it go?
Hi.
Is what you said. Or did he?
Well, I kind of blocked his way. And then he thought I wanted a autograph.
And then you just walked away.
And then I walked off.
George, if you ever hear this, no disrespect, I get it. 99% of people would probably ask you for a picture. So I understand why your first instinct would be like, hi, okay, fan interaction, probably a picture. They're most likely gonna tell me they love my work, they love me in this movie or this show.
That was like 15 years ago, I think.
And then you just went by and left.
Yeah.
I think that's really funny somehow. That's like the least celebrity interaction you would imagine somebody like has. It's like, whoop, and it's gone. Telling you liked him as Batman. Specifically for the bad nipples. Yes.
I don't really get the celebrity appeal.
Infatuation.
Yeah, no, that is the better word for it.
I understand why you would like people that, like, you know, from like movies or music, because like, hey, they've made something that left an impression on you. Yeah, especially with like musicians, they made a song or something that you really like or that like touched you. I get that. 100%.
I do get the being a fan of someone's work and maybe wanting like an autograph or something. But I personally don't get the I'm gonna wait hours in front of the hotel in the hope I meet them.
And then I see them drive past me in their limousine, and because for a moment I realize I'm breathing second-hand air from this person, I start fainting from just overwhelmedness, and my heart can't take it.
Yeah. Same. I can't really get into that mindset, but
I don't think there's a single person I would faint for. Not that I can think of. It's like some people make really cool stuff, and like I can look up to that, and I can be, I don't know, envious that they are so great at what they're doing. But it's like, nice, awesome. I wish I could do this. Like, that's super nice. I mean, I came here to listen to your music, stuff like this, but it's like, Taylor Swift. I mean, on the grand scheme of things, if I can choose between people getting so hyped up that they start fainting at concerts or doing something else, that's innocent.
Yeah, as long as it doesn't turn creepy, that's completely fine.
Yeah. Some people take it a bit too far.
Yeah.
I saw Kaku Michio at my college. I think that's the closest I've gotten to any real celebrity. I don't know who that is. Let me Google that.
So that's also my biggest issue. Like, I know the names of some of the bigger actors, singers.
Oh,
maybe.
I've seen him before. I mean, not physically in real life, but I've seen him talk about things. American physicist and science writer.
But most of the people are just like, I know, I recognize your face. Or I recognize the name and I don't know which belongs to which. For some reason, those things don't stick.
If you meet George Clooney again, tell him I've already done this. The most celebrity person I've ever glanced and been in the same room with was Christopher Lee, actually.
I don't know why you were gonna say Angela Merkel.
No, I've never met our former chancellors.
It was somehow the first person I thought of. It doesn't even make sense.
No, Christopher Lee, actually.
Who is he again?
Saruman the Wise and a million of other things. Count Dooku. Dooku?
I know what you mean now. I just need the face with it.
Christopher Lee. I think he got big by playing Dracula. Yeah, that guy. You all don't need to be reminded how Christopher Lee looks, it's just for Tifa.
1958 he played Dracula. Or
in
Dracula.
I've seen him together with, I believe, his wife and I want to say 2 or 3 assistants, I don't recall, at an airport once. We were waiting for my grandparents' airplane and I misheard Christopher Reeves and I was confused for a second. No,
that's the Temu version.
That chance I didn't have. So we were just waiting at the airport because my dad decided, oh yeah, we're landing at like 7 in the evening. Let's be at the airport at like 5.
Sounds accurate.
To pick somebody up. And this was already the time where the internet existed, so he could have just, checked online when the flight was actually... Doesn't matter. So we spent way too much time at the airport. At some point I just started wandering around because I'm not just going to stand there for 2.5 hours or however long it took. So I walked around and it's empty because like the airport is already like it's getting late, people are leaving, not many flights still coming in. And there's this gentleman, and if I recall correctly, he was wearing like a straw hat kind of thing. And like a Hawaiian shirt, but like a really like oversized one. It looked really comfy. And like shorts and flip-flops. And he walked kind of like hunched over. I believe Christopher Lee also had back issues later on in life. Together with an older woman, also dressed like she just came from a Hawaiian beach. And there were like 2 or 3 people in like business-y attire, like taking their luggage and stuff. And like they walked past me and I look at them and it's like, that's Christopher Lee. Because he is super tall. Like, if you've seen Christopher Lee, you've seen him. He was like 6 foot something.
Yeah, that doesn't tell me anything. Come with non-freedom units.
Over 2 meters in old country units. How tall was Christopher Lee? 196. So not exactly 2 meters, but
okay.
Half a head taller than me.
Bit shorter than my grandfather.
Yeah, her grandfather was huge.
I measure by my grandfather sometimes.
He is 0.99 your grandfather. Something like that.
Yeah, but when people are really tall, it's handy to have a
reference. Yeah. 150 of an Eiffel Tower. Something like that.
Like 3 corgis stacked.
6 corgis stacked, but the last one has its nose booped. You understand what I mean. He's too pissed off. Then he wouldn't have made it through the airport because then he would be like 12 feet. And it would have also been impressive. But yeah, no, Christopher Lee. I've randomly also, again, at airports seen like German musicians, but I never really cared for them, so it's like, whatever.
Fair.
Airports are a great place to see people. Just generally. If that's what you're into. You know what I'm into, Tifa? Your recaps. Please tell us what happened the last time we played Higurashi When They Cry. Chapter 3, Tatarigoroshi.
The last time we played Higurashi, we thought Satoko fainted in class actually, but that was not the case. Satoko actually had a full-on nervous breakdown after Keiichi petted her head.
Tried to. The moment he touched her, she had a reaction.
So things were flying all over the place, food, chairs, everything.
She started hitting things.
She absolutely lost it. Reina started comforting her because when we tried, we only made things worse.
Yeah.
And things
getting worse. They did not get better at all.
Things did not get better
calm down.
until Chie came into the room, and then it was like,
we were adults. I need to behave.
We were just playing around, nothing going on, blah de blah.
Wait, no, behave is the wrong word. It's not like you can control this. I need to act normal. I think that's a better way of putting it. Yeah.
Basically that. Then Keiichi had a little, I don't want to say breakdown, but a little evil breakdown moment within himself where he decided to kill Satoko's uncle.
Yes, because the whole, like, I do not condone this line of thinking because I just don't. But ultimately, in this very moment, witnessing the effects of everything that is happening on Satoko with his own eyes, not just thinking about it as a theoretical, like even understanding, oh, she's suffering, she is suffering abuse in her home. Knowing that and like understanding that on a like in your heart are two different things. So when he witnessed this, he broke himself in a way. He had this like huge out of body experience. Like his mind expanded beyond the confines of his own skull. And then he realized, well, if we can't make Satoko safe, then the obvious solution is to remove the thing that makes her unsafe. And it's as easy as killing Teppei.
So we had a really long moment about that until Reina and Mia basically were like, oh, look at his eyes, that's really creepy, I've never seen that before and it's really scary, and we started acting like a douchebag. So we kind of had the whole Higurashi experience for ourselves this time.
We did the Higurashi eyes.
Yeah.
Apparently. We didn't get to see it, there was no shot of it, but
looks like we actually did. Then after we went home, we asked our mom for advice on how to commit the perfect murder.
Because our mom really likes mystery novels about murders and stuff.
Basically, we did some more planning after that and we decided that we're going to kill the uncle on the night of the Watanagashi to, you know, make things less suspicious.
Specifically though, because the ultimate goal is no matter what, Teppei must die, because Satoko's safety is paramount. However, at the same time, the preferred goal is so Teppei dies, but the crime cannot be solved because Keiichi wants to go back to the joy of the old days, before all of this happened.
So in short, the goal is not get caught.
Yeah, and then of course, you know, he can't be in jail or be found out, because then people know and then it gets awkward and stuff. So kill him, not be found out, and get away with it without anybody ever knowing.
For some reason that bit took so long.
Yeah.
And I do not know why.
It did.
Oh, Eureka.
Yeah, but it also did in the game.
Yeah, it really did. And that's it. I believe we saved at the next day, which is the day after Watanagashi, if I recall.
I think so.
Yeah.
If not already the day, then like the day before, something like that.
I think
close.
We're on the next, but we're gonna find out in a moment.
An awkward reunion after 20 years. Yeah. I mean, once you are so far gone that murder becomes your next step, I don't know if people like that actively think about how it's gonna be afterwards. I mean, Keiichi has some sort of inkling that he doesn't want others to know so that he can have his peaceful life back. So there's like some understanding that he doesn't want the others to know, but at the same time, it's like you're saying, like, imagine he gets caught and then he goes to jail for, let's say, 20 years because it drives the point home. And when he gets out, he's like, hey, Satoko, remember you called me your Nini back then? Remember how I called your uncle for you? How's life been? Like,
I would be thankful. I'd even visit him in prison.
I don't know how I would react.
I don't think you would. You have too high of a
moral standard.
Moral standard, and mine are a bit lower.
Like, don't get me wrong. Maybe this makes me an asshole or whatever, but
that sounds really bad, by the way.
If I am in a situation that is like life and death, and it seems to be that Satoko is heading that way. It's life or death for me. And then you come and save me. But in the process, you kill the person doing this to me. I don't know if, despite me knowing that you saved me, I could ever look at you the same way.
Knowing you, I don't think you could either.
Because there are certain things you cannot take back. It's like, I feel like everybody has gone through that at some point in their life. I feel a more innocent example. You go to school, you have a crush on one of your schoolmates, right? Mm-hmm. It happens every day.
Every day a new crush, or it happens to everyone every day?
Every day a new crush. Because, no, it happens every day that somebody develops a crush on somebody they go to school with. So you have this crush, you don't ever act on it because, you know, how could you? Your crush is so much better than you. They're wonderful, they're perfect, and you're not. So you just don't. And then like 3 weeks later, your crush is sitting there. During class, you've got like, you have to do something, you're studying. And your crush is just sitting there and you're watching them from the side and you're like all lovey-dovey, rose-tinted glasses. And suddenly your crush starts picking their nose, pulls out the nastiest booger you've ever seen, the size of Texas, and eats it.
I would have wanted to have a look at it at least.
I mean, there's a chance that will make you more attracted to him. In which case, no king shaming, but marry. Yeah, exactly, mommy. Like, do that. But then, most likely, you are gonna look at them and then you're gonna see like, okay, maybe they're not perfect. Maybe it was just unreasonable infatuation. I don't actually know this person. I've just seen them, they're attractive to me, and my feelings exploded like that, which is normal, that happens.
Everyone has deal breakers.
Yeah, but like, now that I see that there is more to you than my brain was able to grasp so far, I don't think my feelings for you are the same way. So it's like this, but times a million, because like the scale, the gravity of the situation is so much grander in a case of I murdered somebody so that you could be safe. It's like I'm happy the situation is over. I don't know a better word. I'm flattered that you would go so far for my own well-being. But I don't think I can be with somebody who is willing to murder other people.
I would do that for you.
That's really sweet, and I would never want you to. That's where this relationship works. I would do the same. It's the fucked up thing.
Like, you can't really know how you act in situations until you go through them. And I know it sounds kind of big to just say I don't think I would have an issue with it, but I honestly don't think I would have an issue with it.
I know I 100% would.
Like, I have seen how I've acted in several emergencies. Some better, some worse. And I really don't think I would have an issue with it or impact me in that way. But when it comes to the two of us and these sort of topics, you're usually the more emotional one too. I'm more like, okay.
Whatever. Trash taken out.
Like, next. And you carry all of those things along with you?
Yeah. Yeah, I do.
I just put it in a bag in the corner.
I envy you for that.
I'll come back to it in like 10 years.
It's a skill I don't have. I've tried to develop it. I'm still working on it, but no. Perfect blackmail material. She can't say no anymore.
What if they taste good? I wouldn't eat them.
Oh my god. Oh my god. Oh. This.
Or you mean the boogers?
This, yeah.
Oh. I also wouldn't do that. I've eaten my boogers as a kid.
Dark Lord, Mame, especially with you already going marry them, that's the C plot for Mame's Christmas conundrum fiasco. So, after you start developing feelings for the girl, that the Belgian princess that you went to circus camp with, you do see her do the thing where she's just lost in thought and then she eats one of her boogers. And then you're kind of grossed out. But you also still have feelings for her and you're like, it's not a deal breaker for me. But then you learn through... That part still needs to be workshopped, I don't know, but you learn that the Belgian princess, your love interest, has a super rare genetic mutation where specifically
his boogers taste like chocolate.
Her mucus in her nose tastes like your favorite food.
That is interesting.
Because I think the thought is disgusting, but Dark Lord, you have a point. Imagine if your snot tasted like chocolate souffle.
But you know the kind of weird thing, like why are we against snot, but we do eat like mussels and oysters, which is even more nasty
It's
looking
the same to me, honestly.
and the same texture as snot.
I cannot tell you. Because people decided that that's food.
Like if snot would actually taste like your favorite meal, you would get so rich by that.
Yes.
I would get myself injected every other week with a bacteria to make sure that I have a cold.
She's taking it too far again, like...
No. If you think about it, you can capitalize on this. Just make sure you get injected.
No!
With like the flu, so that you have the thick green snot.
I fell in love with a girl whose booger tastes like burgers is a weird title even for anime.
That would absolutely work.
It's a perfect one. No, not even... It needs to be longer. I got hit by a truck, got reincarnated in an alternative universe, and then I fell in love with a girl whose boogers taste like burgers. It needs to be an isekai. We need to get all the markets. There.
You might be onto something.
Yeah. Together we're gonna get there. We're gonna make the most money ever possible. We're gonna hit all the check marks for all the kinks, all the romance, all the emotions. It's just...
I think we might get there.
Hello, King Fossil. Happy Friday.
How you doing?
How are you doing? That probably exists already.
No.
Pretty
if
sure
it does,
it does.
It will exist starting later because someone saw this and stole our idea.
I will sue them.
There's a movie called I Want to Eat Your Pancreas.
So, what?
That's a cereal.
The what?
Pancreas.
It's called pancreas because you make it in a pan. Pancreas.
That's what I said.
No, you said pancreas.
It's exactly the same.
Pancreas? Pancreas.
There's no difference.
Pancreas is a part of your body. Pancreas is a last name.
It's the same words. It is the same words. Oh, I don't know. I'll save that story for another time. No, we were talking about last names last time, but that's a whole no. Forget Stripe.
That one time when I got isekai'd into a world where my best friend turned into a girl whose booger tastes like burgers. Yes, make it happen.
Yes.
I'm going to invest into your production company if you make that a thing.
I really enjoy the isekai genre.
Yeah,
We
same.
still need to continue watching, besides the slime one. What's it called?
I got turned into a spider, so what? So I'm a spider, so what?
So I'm a spider now. So what? That one was really good.
I don't think they made another season.
What? Yes, they did.
I don't think so.
That show is being finished.
Is it? It should be. Hope so.
What?
Why are we in the recap? How did we get here?
That is a good question.
I think originally it was Mame for mentioning that he has been to circus camp with a Belgian princess. And that occupies 40% of my mind still. I cannot not think of it. I was watching the new Kinnikuman anime arc. Good series, but version was problematic in some aspects. I don't know what it is, I'm gonna Google it.
Which one?
Oh, Ultimate Muscle. Now I remember where I've seen that word before.
Didn't someone mention that last week too?
Yes.
It sounds really familiar, but we haven't seen it.
Yes. Just check Brocken Jr. Oh god, do I want to Google that? Sounds like a mountain in Germany. Oh, okay. Yeah, no, yeah, no, I see why. Yeah, okay. The same reason why I don't like JoJo's Bizarre Adventure. Yeah, no, fair.
That's probably not out
Same.
in Germany.
No, it shouldn't be.
There's no way that wouldn't get censored.
You're not gonna get in trouble for Googling it, but when you see the images, it will be immediately obvious to you. And if it's not immediately obvious, reconsider. Kinnikuman is about as low-key racist as Street.
Special attack is the Red Rain of Berlin.
I laugh not because it's funny, but because it's fucked up.
I was watching JoJo with a friend and was flabbergasted at the amount of times a dog got killed.
I didn't pay attention to that part.
Same.
But I wouldn't be shocked.
JoJo was also wild. I'm not even sure why I finished it. Not really my
You
thing.
haven't finished it. You have not finished it.
We've not finished it?
No, we've seen the first 3 seasons and then we stopped watching because we're like, meh.
Well, that was enough then.
There's way more than what we've seen.
I don't know why I watched the first 3 seasons
Skinner.
and didn't stop after one.
Skinner.
Oh, probably, yeah.
Because the first 3 are kind of connected. They tell one story. First 3, first 2, doesn't matter. How about we follow Psycho's kind of request, but not really. When we're in the recap, how did we get here? How about some Higurashi, Tifa?
Well, somehow the making money out of boogers distracted me.
But they have to taste like burgers. Or chocolate soufflés. Tifa, arest thou ready for your daily Friday dosage of depression with Higurashi?
I am ready.
Press the button. Today you get to do it. Click.
Beautiful.
You even pressed the right button.
Do we need to talk about all of the times that the wrong button was pressed? It was you?
I don't know what she's talking about. Yes, she has a point.
I'm just saying. I just want it out there.
The truth is, usually it's me. Unfortunately. Misclick, Jack at it again. Yeah, well.
And we even have a whole song about how his girlfriend's fingers move too fast.
The girlfriend's fingers moved too fast, she pressed the wrong button and
we were cast. That wasn't me.
The song says it was.
Well, yeah, and there it was.
And if somebody makes a song out of it, it has to be the truth. No. That's Higurashi. I'm still in serial murder mode, right?
Yeah, and it is indeed the next day.
Cold, sterile, calculated, dickish. Outside it was still early enough for the cicadas to be crying. Early afternoon. Evening was still a long way off. I looked at the sky. At some point it had gotten cloudy. Come to think of it, as I left the house, I heard on the TV that the weather forecast was calling for a chance of rain on Sunday. The sky was the color of lead. If I heard a little bit of thunder, I definitely have expected a sudden evening shower.
Who are we killing? Satoko's uncle.
The abusive uncle of one of our best friends who has dubbed us her brother. Unfortunately. Unfortunately that it's going so far that we contemplate murder. However, hello Skinner, happy Friday, how you doing?
What he said.
My first destination was school. Before explaining why I was going there, I needed to explain what method for killing that man I had decided upon. I decided that the most suitable death, the one I need to give him, was the same as last year's curse. The same as the punishment the aunt had received, being beaten to death. Wouldn't beating him to death be somewhat unreliable? You may think that stabbing him with a blade would be more reliable. But this was something I had chosen after a lot of thought. You just needed to think realistically. The law, it prohibited carrying any blades longer than 10 centimeters, I think. That's about 4 freedom units. So the blades available to me, even the longest ones, were still limited to things shorter than a ruler. You can probably understand how tricky it would be with such a short reach to go up against an opponent that might fight back. In that case, a weapon with more reach, like a staff, would be far more advantageous. It might not be quite as inherently lethal, but since you could just keep hitting the guy until you killed him, the end result was the same. So what's a staff-like deadly weapon, terrifyingly powerful, and also eminently portable? By this point, you should immediately think of a metal baseball bat.
A spork. It can stab you and spoon your eyes out.
I was thinking exactly the same thing. I was thinking specifically the eye part. You stab and you scoop. You stab and you scoop. That's not a call to action, I'm just saying it's a spork.
I like how enthusiastic you were there with the thought of poking people's eyes out. That is so not you. You stab and you scoop.
The good old stab and scoop. I was specifically picturing the spork from Toy Story 4.
Yeah, I think not your Skinner is darkening some souls here.
It's the game it's doing this to me.
It's affecting you.
Darkening some souls? How have you all been? I'm slowly falling down into the abyss of madness. We're pulling Jack to the dark side. Yeah. Kinda. You know, it's 15% seasonal depression kicking in because it's getting fall. 85% the game dragging me under, and an additional 100% Tifa's influence. I know that makes 200, that was the point.
Can we get stab and scoop on a t-shirt? With a spork on it.
I can make that.
He's actually going to do it.
I played for chapter 3 of Higurashi and all I got was a stab and scoop t-shirt. If I can 100% do that, we've got our own merch shop, but I would need to think of a good design.
You only need a spork on it.
Yeah, but just the spork itself, like, I need to over-engineer this. I'm an overthinker. I need to like
a spork and an eyeball.
Nah, that's too graphic. And it also cannot be too spoilery for the game. So what I just said, the whole I played through chapter 3 of Higurashi and all I got was a.
You gotta make it more general.
I'll think about it.
Let's do specific.
I'll think about it. We can brainstorm this in the weekend.
No.
Oh boy. This is how derailments happen.
You triggered him.
Exactly. You psycho. I don't need to explain how terrifying a metal baseball bat can be as a weapon. Yes, game? There we go. Of special note is the fact that you can carry one around in broad daylight and not be thought of as suspicious. Just those 2 points would have been enough to choose a metal bat for my weapon. But there was one more reason for choosing a metal bat in particular. I will speak about it later.
Because the metal bat is Satoshi's?
I think so, yeah. So in a way, the new Nini channels OG Nini to enact
revenge.
Judgment. After school that Saturday, my classmates were still having fun playing in the schoolyard. I could show up there and it would be the same as always, so nobody will think I'm suspicious. Getting my hands on the weapon without looking suspicious was actually a factor I couldn't ignore. I didn't normally play baseball, so if I went to a sports store looking for a metal bat, it would definitely be suspicious. I can't let there be a beginning to the story, so I need to be really careful even about that. That left school. At a location at which my appearance wouldn't be suspicious, I would acquire the weapon. I checked inside the classroom through the windows, but of course there was nobody there. The only students who would stay in there were me and the others when doing club activities. Without us, the classroom after school was just an empty, unused room. Without glancing around nervously, as if I'd just gone to get something I'd forgotten, I casually went in the entrance. It looked like the teacher was busy with paperwork in the teacher's lounge. I didn't see her in the hallway. Naturally, yet quickly as a shadow, I entered the classroom. Quickly as a shadow. That's poetic. Do you hear the... That wasn't there before, I think. Okay. The empty room was full of a strange stagnant air that you couldn't feel normally. An empty classroom with nobody here. Maybe while no one was around. The desks creep about of their own accord, licking the floors clean of dirt. If I suddenly stepped into a place like that, would the desks, in their surprise, fly at me, crush my bones and eat me alive? That's ridiculous. I felt regret at wasting valuable thinking time on stupid delusions. The students' lockers were all lined up in the back of the classroom. The one I was looking for wasn't my own. It was a forbidden locker, one I had accidentally discovered one day. Here it is, Hojo. This has to be it. If one person has one locker, then why would Satoko... If one person has only one locker, then why would Satoko have two? I'd made a fuss about it once. After that, I learned it was Satoshi's locker and he had the same last name as her. But of course, even though it was a locker for a student no longer here, looking inside it was still a shameless act. But one time, I let my curiosity get the better of me and took a peek inside. Inside it was average and worthless. At the time I hadn't been interested, so until now I'd forgotten what had been in it. But now that I had, dare I say it, awakened, I remembered the thing that had been there. Dare I say, I havest awakened.
Scrape.
I opened the locker, and the stench of mold and sweat wafted out like a gym storehouse that hadn't been cleaned in weeks. My face puckered up at the stench, but I looked for it. Yes, Satoshi was on Coach's baseball team. Inside the locker was a Hinamizawa fighter's uniform, and it. The one Satoshi used. The metal bat. Yes, this was the reason I wanted to choose this bat. This murder would be carried out by me, but this wasn't originally my role. It was Satoshi's. But I would stand in for him and call myself Satoko's Nini. It was one of the rules for standing in for him. I called that. I reached for the metal bat and grasped it firmly.
I said it was Satoshi's. We both called that.
I called it more than you. It was light. And yet, its tip had enough heft in it. Enough to easily imagine the horror if I brought it down with all my might. Satoshi, I'll give you one last chance to save your sister. Lend me your strength. You're a coward, but I will stand in for you. So if you still care even a little bit about her, you will lend me your strength.
Keiichi can be so dramatic.
There's no more suitable weapon in the world for putting that man to death than your bat. Now I just need to figure out where to hide it. Tomorrow, before the act, I would just stop by the school and grab it. Because I couldn't ignore the possibility of someone someone would see me bringing it home and thinking it was strange. But if I left it here, there wouldn't be a problem. Plus, tomorrow was Sunday. Not only that, it was the day of the biggest festival in the whole village. Nobody would be coming to school.
So it was one day before, not the day of.
I left out the entrance and went over to a construction vehicle parked nearby. We'd been warned by our teacher not to touch it just for laughs, so none of the kids would ever come near the vehicle either. They wouldn't, because if she found out they touched it, they'd be in huge trouble. I quietly hid it in the shadow of the vehicle. The chances of someone operating the vehicle tomorrow were slim to none, because tomorrow was Sunday. Government workers had the day off. And from what my classmates had said, the thing had been left here for years now.
And then tomorrow, for the Watanagashi, they need this to move all of the wood, tables, whatever around. So it's only used once a year during the Watanagashi, and all of the other time it's left here.
Or somebody is walking past this place in the morning or evening when the sun is at a different stand, a different location, at a different angle. And they see a reflection from underneath that thing that just catches their attention. And then they pick up a metal bat.
We're now spending so much time on where we're hiding this thing, I feel like the car's gonna be gone.
That would be really funny. Machines that haven't been moved in years. You can't just suddenly start them up again. So I was almost definitely fine in this case. The sunlight was piercingly hot and my head grew faint for a moment. Had the heat been this harsh for the entire day? A moment of dulled thoughts like this was a moment of carelessness. I gave myself a couple hits in the head then looked around warily.
With the bat.
Why do I think him having heat stroke will be a factor later? Okay. Next, how to dispose of a corpse. If this is the end of the episode, there's gonna be a tip about the swamp.
We just started the episode.
Have we?
Yeah, we finished one yesterday.
Maybe it's a short one.
We finished one on Wednesday.
Disposing of a corpse. The ultimate way not to create a beginning was to not let the corpse be found. It was even more important than killing him. Thinking on it vaguely, the first thing that came to mind was the swamp. Onigafuchi, the dreadful bottomless swamp revered even now, that appeared in the legends of Onigafuchi village. Yes, the swamp called Onigafuchi was here first, and then the village took its name to become Onigafuchi village. In other words, this swamp was the origin of Onigafuchi village. If you make me say Onigafuchi in short succession one more time, Keiichi, no one, no matter who it was, would float back to the surface of this bottomless swamp. Everyone would be swallowed down into the land of the demons below the earth.
Where was the swamp again?
In Oniga, fuck yourself. That was how... I deserve that. But this is the true beauty of Psycho. Psycho did this because you knew it would make me laugh and would get a reaction out of me, and I appreciate that. I like a little bit of trolling. But Psycho is so sweet, he didn't use the ASMR command, forcing one of us to read it out. Which is what I was complaining about specifically. See? That is so sweet of you. Mwah. Thank you. May your boogers taste like burgers.
But for that you need to eat one to find it out, is what he's saying.
If you ever happen to get this stuff in your mouth, not by choice but by happenstance, may it taste like burger.
And when you do like the sneeze and all of it comes out and like spills over your mouth.
You blow your nose, you try to clean it, but...
See what he wishes upon you?
That if something happens that could potentially be disgusting, that it's not disgusting. Where's Tifa? Jack, stop. Mommy, you're watching Higurashi. I mean, you're watching us play Higurashi. I feel like at this point we're just matching the energy of a game.
Yeah, like what's worse? This or boogers?
This or boogers? Wow, Tifa. I have huge nostrils and my nose is already tilted up slightly.
Maybe there was a booger hidden there.
In my defense, I didn't foresee him bringing up a booger thing.
That will probably be brought up a couple of times this week now.
At least in this stream. At least in this stream.
Maybe Sunday too.
Maybe that should be on a shirt.
Boogers. Make it visual art. Collect all of your boogers and snot. Have a t-shirt hang on the wall. Throw it at the shirt. You know, like some people do with paint on a canvas. And then the outline is the pattern you'll make on the t-shirt.
I was thinking just sneeze on a t-shirt and then trace that, but... Press A while I call oyashiro-sama. Alright, fine. That was how the stories went. If I was trying to copy Oyashiro-sama's curse, when I felt that theory demanded I discard the remains and the weapon into the swamp. But they may have set its bottomless, but I didn't actually know. And people say large creatures like humans produce a lot of gas when they're rot, granting a lot of buoyancy. It was why using fairly heavy objects to hold people down didn't work. Come to think of it, with the curse the year before last, Rika-chan's mother drowned herself in the swamp. And the criminal behind the dismemberment that went missing the year of the first curse too. It was rumored he tried to discard her body in the swamp and accidentally drowned in it. I never heard of a corpse coming back up or them finding it. Then, shouldn't I choose to discard the corpse there too? I could discard the weapon there. And then, for example, if her uncle came out on a motorcycle and attacked, it would be convenient to get rid of a bike too. I knew that Satoko's uncle generally used a motorcycle for transportation. But as for the corpse, after a lot of worrying, I decided not to discard the corpse in the swamp. The drowning, suicide and accident were both rumors. Nobody knew if they had actually happened. There were no lack of false rumors about the drowning suicide anyway, and it was possible the murderer hadn't drowned there and was still on the run. That meant no one had ever confirmed a corpse being dropped in there and then not coming back up. Then what would I do with a body? I thought it might be interesting to go with the first incident, cut him to pieces and hide him, but the preparation and work for dismembering a human body would be difficult given the amount of time I had. With that out of the question, I arrived at the conclusion to go with a more orthodox method of burying the body. Then where would I bury it? There's a question related to where I would kill him. Of course, I wanted to keep my time and proximity to the body at a minimum. With that in mind, I would want to dig the hole to dump the body in beforehand, and to make the location of the act and the hole close together. The choice of where to plan the crime, that I needed to be absolutely careful and thorough with. It had to be somewhere nobody would witness it, and a place with hiding places for a sneak attack. I could dig a hole for the body right there. I go over the possibilities in my head of the various destinations her uncle would head to from Satoko's house. I imagined a map of the area in my head, and when I found a place that fulfilled those conditions so easily, it was almost unbelievable. The mountain path with the traps. A bit of a back road that went through the woods. I didn't think her uncle would go deeper into the mountains of Higurashi on a whim, If he was going somewhere, he'd pass through these woods first. And nobody used this back way unless they had something to do at Satoko's house or one or two other places. This part was fantastically ideal, as few people used it. I would wait for him in these woods.
This also looks like a very easy place where everyone can see a hole was recently dug.
Also, yes, plus nobody would go there unless they want to go to Satoko, or maybe one or two other places. Satoko, easily one of the main suspects because of the connection, one or two other people. Finding a murder place was easy, barely an inconvenience. I need to watch more of those videos again.
Every place can be a murder place if you're brave enough.
Not brave enough, if you're murderous enough. Would an ambush actually be possible? I went into the trees and tried really hiding myself in a few places. It was extremely quiet. My senses could be sharpened here to their maximum amount. I will become the apex predator.
I will become the leaf.
This is beautifully written in the energy of a 15-year-old. I didn't know when he'd come, but I'd wait right here for Satoko's uncle.
Who's probably not even gonna leave the house and just drink at home.
I actually had some trouble coming to that decision. Yeah, probably. The question arose of whether I should somehow call the man out. Was there a risk I'd be taking by luring him here? That man made Satoko do all the shopping and errands. He seldom left on his own business. He wouldn't leave unless I worked out a plan to force him to, would he? That was the question. Tomorrow was the Watanagashi festival. Would he go out for the festival or would he stay inside? If he stayed inside, how would I drag him out of his house? That's right. Wouldn't he make Satoko go to the festival? Satoko would go to the festival. Meanwhile, I would call the man. This is the Okinomiya place. This is the Okinomiya police station. We have a young lady from your house. Could you come and pick her up immediately? It didn't even have to be the police. This is the clinic. The young lady from your house has been injured. Please come and pick her up. Yes, that would work too. If I claimed to be the police or the hospital, told him to come and then hung up on him, he'd rush there trying to figure out what was going on, wouldn't he? And just the other day he was visited by a probation officer. He wouldn't suddenly grumble about having to get his niece and not go. It would look like child neglect. The man had no skills useful around the house. Satoko, his slave, was an essential part of his daily life. Conclusion. If he went out to the festival, I would attack him here on his way there or back. If he didn't, I would lure him out by phone. If luring him out by phone was my first step, I needed to be sure Satoko would go to the festival leaving the house. It would be convenient if I could make Mion take Satoko to the festival. She said her aunt was a district welfare officer. In other words, an ally to the probation officer. If I somehow incited Mion to take Satoko to the festival with her, well, being who she was, she'd use that fact and get her there. Satoko should just take a break and have fun at the festival with everyone. She should have a good time, reminisce on our former peaceful days, and when she went home, everything would be over. Yeah, that would be the best outcome. With that decided, I needed to dig a hole somewhere in the woods to hide the body. So it wouldn't stand out, so it wouldn't be found. Someplace nobody would see me while I was completely exposed as I buried the corpse. I had wanted it to be close to the scene of a crime, but it naturally grew farther away. Also, I feel like burying the corpse really close to the house is a party foul for murder. Because wouldn't the police come with dogs and give them something that smells like the person they're looking for? And then they go, yeah, it's here.
I don't know if they would do that here or if they have done that at the previous Watanagashis. Normally I
Yeah.
would think yes.
True, we don't know how much the Sonozakis or other people interfered with the police investigation.
I don't think they had that much chance to investigate at all.
Also a point. Deep in the bosom of a black forest. The voices of the Higurashi were the only sounds here, informing me that people shouldn't indiscreetly set foot in this place. Digging a hole, huh? Digging a hole with so many tree roots crawling around the ground would be far more difficult than I'd envisioned. I snuck a gardening spade out of here in my bag, but that wouldn't be enough. Still, as I looked into various approaches, I managed to find a place I could dig into. Tomorrow I'd bring a real shovel from the storeroom at home. I'd manage with that. I wondered how big a hole would have to be to fit a human all the way into it. I'd probably have to dig pretty deep down. But if I was slipshod in these efforts, I'd let a beginning occur. I absolutely couldn't allow that. Use any amount of time you need to. I mustn't spare any effort to utterly erase him. I glanced at my wristwatch. It was a little past 6. This was probably all I was going to get done here for today.
The police are told to do what they can to not investigate that test group, yeah.
Yeah,
So they probably just go, well, the person is missing.
yeah, and I mean, the question is how far that extends. Because I would imagine the Sonozakis are everywhere in Hinamizawa. So if a command is don't go near the Sonozakis, it's essentially all of Hinamizawa is off the case, right?
It's probably minimum effort.
Yeah. Just pretend you look. Just like,
No, nothing here.
huh? No, boss. Didn't see anything. No. I looked really hard, you know. I mean, I really wanted to dig the hole in advance tonight, even if it got dark out. But Mom would be upset if I stayed out that late. It would be good to come off as suspicious. It wouldn't be good to come off as suspicious to my parents. I really want to murder somebody, but I can't miss dinner. I needed to go back home and give Mion a call soon. I needed to get her to promise Satoko to take her by tonight. After that, today would be done. Done. Would it be though? Was this really everything I could do to prepare right now? I decided where to kill him. I decided how to kill him. I decided, of course, how to dispose of a body. I didn't decide on a time, but I would play that by ear. I didn't have a way to decide that. Was that really all? Was this really alright? Have I overlooked anything? Would this really go how I planned? After all this, worry started welling up one after another. It was only natural I'd be anxious. This would be the first and last big job of my lifetime.
You know what's also a first right now?
Given the wild things we've already talked about today, I have a bunch of ideas, but I think the most likely is a break.
Bingo. Taking a short break. That's right. You got it, Dark Lord.
Yes, thank you for calling that. He's gonna pop his murder cherry after the break.
Even murderers need breaks.
That's true. BRB.
BRB.
Fuchi, oniga 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 fuchi. It's taken a moment. Drop me a sick beat, yo.
And this was your moment to continue.
I was done.
Wow. Wow.
Now I read the whole thing, I think.
In case you didn't know yet,
Oniga fuchi.
we're back.
Hey, my shoulder didn't pop for once.
That's surprising.
Now it did. And here I was happy with myself. Alright,
Hiccup.
so ready for the last big job of my lifetime?
Ready for it.
I could not allow failure, and I had no experience as this was my first time. I didn't have the know-how, the knack. so it was only natural I'd be anxious.
It's like we're going to a job interview.
Yeah, a little bit. So what do you bring to the table, Keiichi Maebara? I'm not sure. But dark clouds of unease told me doing nothing would be the easiest way. A truly pathetic suggestion this late in the game. Have you forgotten how miserable Satoko looked? From the outside it may have looked like I was resolute, but deep in my heart my knees were shaking loudly. I've never actually won a single fight to my satisfaction. Could I really kill someone? I may have been planning an ambush, but my enemy was large and far older than me. He had a scary face and he looked like he was well accustomed to fighting. Could I have... All the pieces before and after the murder were perfectly planned. But was the actual murder the most important part? What unsettled me the most? All my preparations, all of my perfectly concealed machinations, if I didn't successfully murder him, they amounted to nothing. Damn it! After coming this far, you are pathetic, Keiichi Maebara. If you start to have these kinds of second thoughts, your ulterior motive will be obvious. Let's go home. Go home and calm your mind. Tomorrow will be a juncture in your life, the likes of which graduation, employment, marriage and childbirth couldn't hold a candle to. A day of murder. To kill someone. For someone else's sake. With that day behind us, we would take it back again. Those mild, spring-like days we never thought would stop. Those safe, peaceful, fun times. I pedaled my bicycle hard to get back home. I felt somehow unsteady. Like my body and soul weren't in alignment. A subtle shift between where the tips of my hands and feet really were and where I felt them to be. My vision was a little distant and narrow. As if a great barrier I risked my future life on had nothing to do with me. An unreal sensation. How could I put it? Everything was so far away. Fine. Feel your unease permeate you, Keiichi Maebara. If that will turn your timidity into meticulousness and allow you to act with greater caution, then it's actually an important emotion to feel. This feeling I had, it never went away that night. Do you now see what I mean? Like there's two Keiichis talking to each other? And I don't know if it's like different aspects of him or if it's like deeper than that.
I still think this is the serious mindset.
It was the first time I'd be calling Mion's house. I searched for her in the phone book the school gave me, then dialed a short phone number, the kind unique to remote places. A very Smeargle-like reaction. Yeah, that's a good comparison. It was around dinner time. She would probably be home. But just as I started to think nobody would respond, someone finally picked up the receiver.
Hello, this is Sonosaki.
Oh, I'm sorry for calling so late at night. Is this Mion?
Huh? May I ask who's calling?
It's me, Keiichi.
Okay, Kei-chan. It's pretty late. What's up?
No. What's up?
There was a longer
There's 3 U's.
Yeah, was long enough.
She seemed to be in a weirdly good mood and she drew her syllables out. Right, it's the night before tomorrow's festival, so she's probably with her family having some drinks. She is drink.
Than you. She drink.
Yeah. What's up?
That's too much.
Wasn't invented until the 90s. Honestly, the wada should have happened way before. That should have been like an 18th century kind of thing.
That must be trademarked by now.
I don't think it is.
Doing it in the what's up. That has to be trademarked at this point.
That was from a Scary Movie, right? It's like the one thing anybody knows from a Scary Movie. Even if I don't know Scary Movie. The Mask was actually from Scream.
What was it called? I Know What You Did Last Summer?
That's a completely different thing.
But I think it has it in there too.
No, it doesn't have. What's that?
You sure?
Yes. That was Scary Movie. I think.
It's from a Budweiser commercial. No.
Wait.
Was did that come first?
Don't ruin. Don't you Mandela affect me like this? Was there was in a Budweiser commercial before Scary Movie?
When did Scary Movie come out? But they were Oh!
No!
Wow.
My life is in shambles.
I did not know that.
Oh my god. How?
I need to look up that commercial now.
I feel like all of my life has been a lie up until this point.
No, right? When you think, then you see the commercial and you go like, oh, they're copying Scary Movie.
Yeah, exactly. Because I wouldn't know the release dates. Oh my god.
Now it feels ruined.
Stop ruining my childhood. Yeah, that.
The more you know. It's like when you listen to a song.
That hits deep.
And it's absolutely one of the best things you heard. And then it turns out it's not the original.
It's a cover from 40 years ago. Actually, you like the original even more than the cover.
I felt like that when, who did a cover of the year 3000?
Nobody.
Jonas Brothers. Jonas Brothers did a cover of the year 3000. And then you have like the younger generation who all go like, oh, this song is like the best and stuff.
It's a bop.
And you're a bop, yeah. And then you're saying like, this is not their song. This is not the best.
Why can't you be happy that a new generation gets to enjoy the song as much as you have before them with a different band?
Yeah, you can, but it's kind of the same thing when you think it doesn't even matter if it's the original or not, as long as it's good. But it's like that sort of feeling. And then you learn that it's not, and then it's like, wow.
There was... Dark Lord, I don't know how to feel right now. This has thrown me for more of a loop than all of this.
More than the buggers.
I don't know how I will emotionally recover from this. I will try my best though.
Just forget the info.
I'm not blaming you. You've just pointed out to me a great injustice that has been done to me by not knowing this already.
Tifa gatekeeping, enjoying music.
I know, right? I know.
No, but I remember a discussion online about how Jonas Brothers were then the OG, and then there was like this whole argument about it. But yeah, as long as it's fun, as long as you like it and enjoy it, it's fine. But it's the teenager in me who then goes, I knew them first.
I knew the song before you. Why is that a thing? I want to say that
I have no clue.
Almost everybody goes through it at some point. Like, oh, now they like this thing, but I liked it way before them. Like, I've done that myself a bunch of times in my life too. And until at some point I realized like,
I've known them since their first song. I remember that being a time at school.
I listened to them before they made it big. Maybe you want to listen to some of the earlier stuff, but I don't know if you would like it because I don't know you can appreciate it. And I feel like the head, like, the waviness has to like be part of a sentence, otherwise it just doesn't like gel. Remember me on you're drunk.
I'm drunk.
Sorry for the late call. Do you have time right now?
Sure, what is it? Drunk now.
Tifa, that's not drunk. That's when you took a call while you're on the toilet.
I haven't been drunk in like 7 years.
For good reason, you get angry when you get drunk.
That is not true.
Not at me, but Tifa, you know...
I've been an angry drunk once and then they asked for it.
You keep not recalling that one time me and a friend of yours had to hold you back from running all the way down the street after you wanted to shout at people like a mile away down the street in front of us because they walked in a way you didn't like.
No, that's not true.
That is true.
That is so not true.
Ask him after the stream.
I will.
Please do.
I will.
Shaking my head, Tifa, I'm disappointed. I know, right?
I'm not that much of an angry drunk. I will react more.
Tifa gets into bar fights, picks up greyhounds off the street.
Now, there was a time where I used to be drunk every single night.
That's when you were in London.
That was when I was in London and I had the typical
Now well, I just need
London
to interject
Irish
you.
friends.
Now you could ask yourself, is this the culture or is it already alcoholism? ¿Por qué no los dos?
I never drank before, or I never really drank before I moved to London. And then it was like paycheck to paycheck, spending all your money on alcohol. Yes.
The culture is alcoholism. I'm not saying all of British culture is alcoholism, but a part of it, to me, sounds like alcoholism.
I have many fond memories though, and I've never started a fight.
That you remember.
During that time. No, absolutely
Yeah,
not.
that you remember.
No, absolutely not.
Oktoberfest last week. Oktoberfest to me is so weird. People pay
It's not even October.
triple, quadruple for the same beer they can drink at home.
Yeah, but it's about the atmosphere, being outside, having fun.
The Bavarian governments of the last 20 years have been on tirades and crusades about legalizing things like weed because we can't have people just take drugs. And then you have Oktoberfest where people regularly drink themselves into a coma. Alcohol is a drug. Yeah, Psycho was going the same way. Yeah, that's their argument. Alcohol isn't a drug. Yes, it is.
Yeah, but it's too commonly accepted.
Yes, it's part of a culture. It can't be a drug.
Especially people drink way too often, and most can't even handle it. I used to be able to hold my liquor, and now I get drunk after one beer. What?
I had a funny idea, but I think it would go too far to actually do.
What?
If I say it, it's not funny, and if I do it, no. The idea will live and die in my head. Sorry. Sometimes I catch myself trying to be a better person. This was one of those moments, and you just got to witness it. Drug, a chemical substance such as a narcotic or hallucinogen that affects the central nervous system, causing changes in behavior and often addiction. As alcohol can be. Yes. As anything can be, really, but now we're talking about alcohol, so yeah. Get Tifa to play Elden Ring DLC and take a shot for every death.
I would be dead within the hour.
Yes. Yeah.
Yeah,
it should. It should.
And then I get so focused, I nail everything.
Mm-hmm.
2-3 deaths max, end of game. There we go.
And this is why we have a command specifically to spite Skinner. I feel like that's one of those moments.
We should actually do that, but instead of me actually playing, we have a video of this.
It's a video of a no-hit run.
Yeah. In the background.
And we're like, oh my god, what? Yeah. Get like the world record speedrun no-hit video. It's like, yeah, today Tifa really wants to play Elden Ring, so let's see how it goes. She's never touched the game before. 36 minutes later, oh, the game is over already? Oh, how did that happen?
Oh, that would be so funny.
And we're talking about all of these things because I need Tifa to redo the line, but actually sounding like she's drunk. And I'll give you a hint. Sure, what is it?
That's too much.
No,
sure, what is it? I can still talk normally when I'm drunk.
But it's funnier if you slur.
It's not a funny game. Is there any ha-ha here right now?
There was plenty of ha-ha early.
Not now, is there?
It's about Satoko. I heard her draw a small breath on the other end.
Satoko, she's in a pretty bad spot. And now we're serious. I hope she's okay.
That doesn't make you sober.
Yes, it does. Some things sober you up.
Some things. I don't know about that.
Look.
Okay, fine. Tifa understood the assignment way before I did. I'll take it back. Are you sure you haven't played this game before?
No, but I've been drugged before.
I need you to repeat that because I heard I've been drugged before.
I've been drunk before.
Okay, thank you. Better. The scent of sake had completely disappeared from her voice. She can't be okay. You saw too, didn't you? What she was like? She was completely worn out from all the abuse. We failed her all this time and now she's become like that.
We didn't fail her. Everyone tried their hardest to help her.
But we didn't come up with anything and we couldn't save her. In the end, we couldn't do anything about it and now she's become like that.
I guess you're right. All I did was watch after all.
So, well, couldn't we at least let her have fun one more night?
Well, let her have fun.
She's been so battered lately, you understand? That's why. I want you to take her to the Watanagashi festival tomorrow.
I don't mind. But why?
Why? I want to give her a breather at least for the festival night, you know? Even if it's just one night, if she can get away from her evil uncle, then I think she'll be happy, even if it's only for a little while.
Yes, but why?
Mion knows. Why? Why what?
Just say, I would like to take her, but seeing how she responded very heavily to me yesterday, I think it's best if you or maybe Reina takes her instead of me, so that she can enjoy her time more.
I was having a little difficulty understanding what Mion was asking me.
Why? Well, I mean, why don't you bring her, Keiichi? Why do you need to ask me to do it?
Mion was persistent about odd things. No, maybe it would be better to say that she was sharp. I actually have something to do tomorrow. I can't make it to the festival, so I wanted you to take Satoko there for me.
Something to do?
It's nothing major. I'll probably finish quickly, but I might not be able to meet up with you all tomorrow. Hey, Mion, could I leave Satoko to you just for tomorrow night? Mion took a long time to give her reply. I got the feeling that Mion had been acting weird for a while now. Like she was flustered by emotions or something.
No.
Huh? Was that a sob?
Oh.
Mion? Are you crying?
I said no. I don't want to. I don't want you to push this onto someone like me.
I'm not trying to push anything onto you. It's just for tomorrow night.
That was a lie!
What? Mion, what was she talking about?
Saying it's just for the night of Watanagashi. And then it was forever. Liar! Satoshi said the same thing, I guess. Didn't he disappear the night of the Watanagashi too?
Oh my god, do we have another "you are just like him" moment?
So I'm guessing he asked her the same. And then left. But I guess we're even, huh? I couldn't keep the promise I made with you. I left her alone all this time.
I had no idea what to say to that. Mion was clearly now talking to someone other than me. I didn't know who. All I could do was listen to her in a daze.
You never came back after that, and now you called me again to push her onto me? You're so unfair. Hey, you're Satoshi-kun, aren't you?
Mion, what are you talking about? When I said her name, whatever spell was on Mion was released.
I'm sorry. It's nothing. It's just that I got a phone call a lot like the one you're making now a long time ago.
Was it from Satoshi? Mion didn't answer. All I could hear were sobs coming through the receiver.
Sorry. I think I'm still a little tipsy. I got all weirdly emotional. Sorry, I probably scared you.
I had no idea how it happened, but I was pretty sure that last year on this very day, Satoshi had called Mion and told her to bring Satoko to the festival. And when she asked why he needed her to do it, he replied the same way I just did. Satoshi didn't go to the festival, did he?
Yeah. He said he had something to do and couldn't make it. And he told me to take Satoko there in his place.
At the time, Satoshi said it too, didn't he? That he'd leave Satoko to you?
Yeah. He did. Just for tomorrow night. The way he said it, it was just how he did. I just got a little upset. Caught up in a memory and all.
I didn't expect this. Satoshi had given her the exact same phone call 1 year ago today. After that, Mion had said more. That he was lying. That he told her it would only be for the night of a festival. I get it. A few days later, Satoshi, he disappeared. Disappeared might have been a rather vague way of putting it. Whether he ran away or not, Satoshi left, abandoning Satoko.
Yes. He didn't transfer or run away from home. He disappeared.
It's like poetry, it rhymes. I didn't know I was playing a Star Wars game. I just noticed the Thanos quote. I want to say the "fine, I'll do it myself" has been used before Thanos in the MCU, but it's the first thing that I also found when I googled it.
It's a good title.
Allegedly. Nothing existed before Thanos, apparently.
This is the what's up?
That wasn't a Budweiser commercial, that was Thanos too. Google didn't exist before that quote. Yeah, no. Didn't existed, I get you. And then, an idea far more indistinct than even fog crossed my mind. Satoshi made exactly the same phone call as me last year. Why would Satoshi make the exact same call? If, in the truest sense, he really made the exact same phone call as I am right now, then the incident where the aunt was beaten to death, could it was Satoshi.
Huh? What was that?
Last year, Satoko had been constantly abused by her uncle's wife, their aunt too. Her aunt abused her the most, and on that night, in the name of Oyashiro-sama's curse, she was taken from this world. If I thought about that, everything made perfect sense, didn't it? Last year, Satoko's aunt was beaten to death, wasn't she? Would it be impossible for Satoshi to have? No, but that would mean... But then Satoshi, he was a coward who abandoned Satoko and ran away, wasn't he? How could Satoshi resolve himself to kill a person to save Satoko? It was unthinkable.
So Satoshi killed the aunt.
And
uncle
ran away.
No, uncle killed Satoshi and
Also
then ran
possible.
away.
I think that is a likely outcome, yeah. That would make sense.
Would explain both, I guess.
Yeah.
I actually considered that as well. Though it'd be mean to Satoshi.
A few days later, he disappeared. On Satoko's birthday. When I first heard it, I flew into a rage. What a cruel day to have run away on. But now that I've thought about it like this, the story changed completely. Satoshi had probably been even less calm than I was now. He was her big brother, related by blood, watching his little sister be abused day in and day out. Maybe that's why he couldn't keep calm. And that was why the corpse of her aunt, beaten to death, was so easily discovered. Satoshi lost himself in his anger and hadn't hidden the corpse. He permitted a beginning to occur. If the police conducted a full-blown investigation, it was easy to imagine they wouldn't take long to pin down Satoshi as the culprit. Satoshi, he wished for a return to peaceful days with Satoko, and though he achieved it for a time, he had been steadily driven into a corner. And then, he wanted to at least hold out until Satoko's birthday, but finally, they nailed him. At the time, Satoshi had been carrying the savings he'd amassed to buy Satoko a giant stuffed animal for a birthday present. He would buy the stuffed animal as her gift, and then get caught. Or he could use the money and disappear. That was the choice he had been forced to make. And he decided not to make Satoko the sister of a murderer. If that was the case, then it must have been an unspeakably bitter decision. All that money he'd saved wanting to see Satoko happy, he had to use it to make her sad. And he used the savings and disappeared to Tokyo if the rumors were true. Was that how Satoshi disappeared?
I don't know. That Oishi guy seems to think that way though.
Also, really quick, I just had a dumb feeling.
What? What's the feeling?
That was why the corpse of her aunt beaten to death was so easily discovered. Satoshi lost himself in anger and hadn't hidden the corpse. He permitted a beginning to occur.
Yes.
Could that be the beginning of chapter 1?
Nah, I don't think Satoshi is the interesting thought, by the way.
If I recall correctly, the text describes the murder we are witnessing as somebody being beaten to death, not stabbed. Specifically, beaten to death.
That is a really interesting thought.
It's a person describing killing a woman.
Was it a woman?
Yeah. Ranger, happy Friday. How are you doing? Please enjoy a drink. I shall join you.
Everything he says. How are you doing, Ranger?
It's in relation to what his mom says about murder novels. Yeah. 100%.
Yeah, but the wonder
yes,
is if it has a deeper meaning.
They've been doing that ever since they've had that talk where she's like, oh, there needs to be not a beginning because when the story happens and when they get found out. Yes, 100% true. But what if there's a double meaning to this?
It is an interesting thought, but it doesn't make sense to have it start there. Because this was 1 year ago and we're already 4 years into the murder mystery, basically.
Okay, yeah, true. Yeah.
So it would be odd to have the beginning start there.
Yeah. I mean, I don't know how exactly that would like factor into the whole like meta level of Higurashi, because I still think there is one. But it kind of has the same ring to it.
Yeah, I definitely get what you mean. But I don't think so, because the timing doesn't make sense. If this was the first murder, I absolutely would have agreed with you.
Also, for some stupid reason, I think this is somehow connected to Keiichi.
The murder that happened last year, or what do you mean?
Specifically Satoshi.
Is Keiichi Satoshi after he had plastic surgery in Tokyo? Is that what you're saying? And during the plastic surgery they hit some kind of nerve which caused him to lose his memory. So that's why he doesn't remember he actually is Satoshi, is what you were going to say?
I thought Irie was Satoshi.
That's a different Satoshi.
Maybe there's some Satoshi in all of us. It's all tied back to Genocide Jill. It should be. It honestly should be.
Enjoy your lunch, by the way.
Yes, please do. Say hi to Eli from us, and to Kelly, and to Olivia and everybody.
To Kelly, say hi from Jack.
Specifically that, yes. Also, I feel like, I mean, the world is a big place, but also a really small one. I feel like the he ran away to Tokyo part could be important. The only other two characters we know that regularly go to Tokyo or have been there or came from there are Keiichi and Tomitake.
I don't see that as a important point.
But then again,
bigger city.
It's also only been 1 year since this happened, so you would imagine if Satoshi comes back, they would recognize him.
Yeah, they will probably always recognize him.
Possibly. Higurashi spelled backwards as race car. Ranger, I have horrible news.
I knew something was odd when I looked at Higurashi.
Please don't help your kids with their reading homework. Because if you actually think it's spelled that way, some bad news. But maybe it's
it's very cute how serious you go.
Maybe Ranger is actually outsmarting us, bamboozling us to the nth degree. Maybe I can't read backwards. Isharugi.
It's Spanish for race car.
No, is Japanese for race car. Olivia looked at me like I was the coolest person ever when I showed race car spelled backwards as race car. As she should, because that is amazing.
Oh, maybe you should learn, you sometimes have where you write words and then out of the word you draw what it actually is. We had an assignment like that in school. Like you write cat and then out of the words you have to make a cat.
I understand the concept, but like I have been...
It might be something she will enjoy.
I have been born with a certain amount of talent points and none of them went into the ability to translate this on paper with my hands. Like I understand the idea, you'd like cat and then you put like ears on it and then the word cat starts looking like
cat starts transforming into
but
cat.
like I understand the concept, I can't even picture it.
Fair enough. She has a couple coloring books like that.
That's adorable.
See?
Yeah. Jack put all his hope fragments into visual novels. Yeah, pretty much. And saying weird things on the internet sometimes.
Only sometimes.
Shiraguhi.
Reminds me of that word game we sometimes play online.
Wait. Now you reversed the... that's not in reverse, that's the syllables in reverse order. I was like, that's the same letters as Higurashi, but if I read it now backwards, why does it not say Higurashi? My mind. All my stats got put into intelligence and never studied magic. You put them all into intelligence, but you picked the magic class that doesn't actively use intelligence for the roles. Oh.
That somehow sounds very relatable.
That's me every time I play an RPG where you assign the stats by yourself the first time. I put them into the wrong thing.
And you go like, I need to be strong. So you put all of it into strength.
And then you're like, why can't I hit the enemies? Oh, that's actually dexterity? Ah!
Basically, yes.
Was it a car or a cat I saw? Yes.
Oh, with the words of where you, yeah. I was like, was it a car or a cat? But with the playbook, yeah. You can do that with a lot of words, actually.
It's also a palindrome. Was it a... Oh my god, it is! I mean, you need to put the spaces somewhere else, but... Y'all breaking my minds. Now, back to the murder fantasies. Oishi. Had he been slowly driven into a corner by that repulsive man's pig-headed pursuit?
The circumstantial evidence is all there, but I think your deduction is wrong. They caught some lowlife somewhere in the prefecture and he apparently turned himself in for the crime.
That was right. The deviant had confessed and the incident was solved.
They said he really was just a crazy person and that he had no ties to Hinamizawa. And no relationship with Satoshi, of course. I mean, I have a pretty hard time believing the guy would lie in Satoshi's place.
You couldn't just arbitrarily decide like that. You never know where or how humans are tied together. If that guy took the blame, then it was for perfect crime. Of course, if it was really a perfect crime, there would have been no reason for Satoshi to vanish.
Plus, I don't think Satoshi had the kind of money to run away. That day, he withdrew all his savings. No matter who I tell this to, nobody believes me, but that stuffed animal he said he was buying for Satoko, it was gone from the display, sold. It must have been Satoshi. We haven't seen Satoko with a plushie in any of the chapters, have we?
I wouldn't be shocked if, don't know if you said this earlier, but Satoshi kills the aunt. A few days later, Teppei kills Satoshi and runs away.
That is exactly what I said, yes. I do think Satoshi is dead.
We have a custom ASMR, this one reeks of you.
A Toyota, sponsored by Toyota.
Wait a minute. If he didn't use the money to flee and bought the stuffed animal instead, he would have gone back to Satoko, wouldn't he? It seems unbelievable he'd buy it and then disappear without having given it to her.
Yeah. So now I don't know what happened. It would be one thing if he had the money, but if he used all his savings on it, he'd be totally broke. You can't live a life on the run without money in this world.
That's true.
You'd be surprised.
I didn't get it. After all that, I was understanding Satoshi less and less. The two of us fell silent. I couldn't remember how we even got onto this topic.
Sorry. I think we got off topic. Satoko, right? Don't worry. I actually already invited her.
Huh? You serious?
When everyone went to the shrine to prepare for the festival, we started talking about getting Satoko to the festival itself. So then I used the phone at the assembly hall to invite her. Her uncle was acting distant and didn't seem to care at all. But in any case, we got the okay from him. We decided to all meet up and go together tomorrow. You okay with that? They didn't even invite us, by the way. Satoshi?
Stupid. I'm not Satoshi. I was a little relieved. I hadn't needed to make a phone call. Satoko had already been invited to the festival. And not in a way that smelled of blood, a way to leave her uncle alone to create time for me to kill him. I purely wanted Satoko to enjoy herself, so they invited her. In the end, it was the same, but I was happy for that slight difference. Sorry. I guess I didn't need to call then. First yesterday, now today. Sorry for saying such weird things. Just forget about it.
No, I'm the one who should apologize. Losing it like that isn't like me. I'm really sorry.
We apologized to each other for a little bit. Alright, I'll be going now. Good night.
What did you have to do?
As if interrupting our parting words, Mion struck straight where it hurt.
Or is it like with Satoshi where you can't stay? Or where you can't say?
Stupid. I keep telling you, I'm not Satoshi.
Yeah. Yeah, I know that.
I deflected her with a response that wasn't really an answer. Mion didn't hound me anymore after that. Alright, this time for real. Good night.
I don't know why you're giving me the same phone call as Satoshi-kun did, but... yeah, never mind. I'm sorry, good night.
I'm hanging up.
Click.
Satoshi Hojo, just who are you? I scorned you as a coward who ran away abandoning her sister. I always thought you didn't have a right to call yourself a Nini. But now I didn't know what to think. Oyashiro-sama's curse on the 4th year, Veron's death, and Satoshi's disappearance. And now me trying to carry out Oyashiro-sama's curse on the 5th. Oddly enough, what I was going to do overlapped perfectly with Satoshi the day before the curse. No, that wasn't all. If we start back from Satoko being abused, then I'd been overlapping with Satoshi for days already. When I talked to Mion before, she asked me if I was Satoshi. If that was the first impression a third party like Mion got, then it was probably true. Then, as Satoshi had accomplished, I would succeed in the murder. But that was the extent to which we overlapped. I was far calmer than Satoshi and more calculating. I could actually grow calmer, the more enthusiastic I became. That's why I wouldn't follow in Satoshi's footsteps. I would snip him cleanly out of the world, and then get our peaceful life back. Maybe Satoshi has been with me ever since I chose... Maybe Satoshi has been with me ever since I chose to use Satoshi's bat as my weapon. No, maybe even longer than that. When I decided I'd be her Nini, maybe Satoshi had been residing within me then too. Satoshi, were you really a coward? Or are you a true Nini even now? The kind worthy of Satoko's love? I'd never met him, never spoken to him, didn't even know his face. And yet I felt so connected to him. I never felt that way before. All right. Hey, note on the housewife murder case. Consider my interest piqued. I hope there's a clue in this. For the attention of those on the housewife slaughter incident case. Just rolls right off the tongue.
July something, 1982. Okinomiya Police Station, 1st Investigative Division. Chief Takasugi. Prefecture Police Headquarters for the eradication of drug-related crime. Shishibone Branchhead. Someone. Regarding Incident X, designated as undercover investigation.
Undercover?
This message is to inform you that a section of the testimony records of an incident under this police headquarters jurisdiction has been found. That it is thought to be related to the undercover investigation of the incident in question, Okinomiya Police Station X, Hinamizawa Village housewife slaughter incident. During investigation of suspects, someone who was arrested for possession of illegal drugs. There was testimony alluding to the crime in question, and it became clear that it contained information that only the perpetrator could have known. Therefore, we are prepared to share this record of testimony with you, duplicate attached. And if this testimonial is to be believed, then there is an extremely high chance that suspect, someone, was the perpetrator in the incident in question. In addition, on receiving this testimony, the head investigator on the case inquired as to the incident with the Okinomiya Police Station. But the responsible party at Okinomiya Police Station misunderstood, and in compliance with the designation as an undercover investigation by executive order from Prefectural Police Headquarters on July 1st, 1982, General Administration B112. They did not explain the incident's existence to the head investigator as they should have. Because of this, the head investigator did not realize the importance of the testimony as it related to the case in question. And as a result, was negligent when combining the scene.
Combining?
When combing the scene. And as a result was negligent when combing the scene. We apologize for having effectively ignored it until now. In addition, there is a postscript stating that suspect someone died while in confinement yesterday on certain date. Do you think
What?
that's Satoshi?
Why did they leave out so many details? So
It's annoying,
somebody was in Hinamizawa undercover.
Yes, because they probably weren't allowed to do it openly because of the Sonosaki group.
So there's two stories in this, from what I understand. The undercover person went to the police, told them something. What they told them we still don't know. But the police didn't actually take note of that because they just considered it non-important because they didn't realize this person was undercover. And the person that they found possessing drugs died, but there also seemed to be a likely suspect in the murder because they had details only the murder should have been able to have.
Well, we're kind of back to the drugs. It all depends on the time a little bit too, but that could be Satoshi, I guess.
I don't think Satoshi would have drugs with him or be undercover for the police.
We even had drugs return in several chapters, and then Neon and Reina also carried drugs on them, no? Or who was it that had the drug files in the pocket?
Yeah, it was both of them. Yeah, no,
See?
true, yeah.
They also wouldn't have drugs, so it wouldn't be weird for Satoshi to have drugs as well. We still don't know anything about this drug.
Yeah, or which kind they meant here. As a house husband with peak sphincter. I hope the information helped you in staying even safer.
Exactly. Don't get slaughtered.
No, please don't. Did you know that slaughter backwards, or spelled backwards, is race car? Did you know that Sunday spelled backwards is race car?
In a moment you spelled backwards will be race car.
Sunday. The fireworks I heard before noon were probably to announce the opening of a festival. And the weather certainly wasn't festival weather, it was cloudy. The television forecast was calling for possible downpours starting this evening and lasting until around midnight. But as long as it wasn't raining at the moment, the festival would go on. The festival had to open, or it wouldn't begin.
Did you know books are factually incorrect? I actually do know,
Yes,
because I have learned that in the best game ever. Frog Detective.
Frog Detective 1. There's also Frog Detective 2 and 3, and they are just as good. Just saying.
Not just as good, but still good.
Nah.
Frog Detective 1 was the best in the series. One was the best one.
1 left the biggest impression because of how fresh it was. 2 was good. 3 had the
Closure.
had the task of being a good game by itself, and it was a massive improvement on the others. I loved it, and it had to tie up the story of all 3, and it did that very well.
Yeah. But so if I look at all of them, 1 was definitely my favorite. I stick to that.
Did you know that almost Christmas isn't Christmas? But I like watching my Christmas movie when it's almost Christmas.
I watch Christmas movies all year round.
So couldn't you therefore say that even if it's just almost Christmas, it is technically Christmas? Because whether or not it's really Christmas depends on whether it feels like Christmas.
Christmas is a state of mind and lives in your heart.
That's what I'm trying to say, but I just like saying the word Christmas over and over.
So every day can be Christmas as long as you believe it's Christmas.
Shiva, every day with you next to me feels like it's my birthday and Easter and Christmas and all of them together.
Merry Christmas.
Merry Christmas. The Furude Shrine Grounds were probably decorated beautifully for a big performance that only happened once a year. Many paper lanterns were hung up, all in the auspicious colors of red and white. The sound of electric motors at the stall, the voices of kids running around, the happy families watching them, smiling. Today was the festival of Watanagashi. Was everyone already partaking in the festivities? What about Satoko? Had she forgotten her days of suffering just for a few moments, while smiling that brilliant smile she hadn't in so long? This would probably be the longest day of my life. It would be a day I would remember vividly for as long as I lived. I told my parents I'd go to the festival this evening and lounged about during the early afternoon. We may have lived under the same roof, but they couldn't help being surprised by the deviation from how I usually spend my time. Glancing at my parents out of a corner of my eye, I went to the front door. I tied my shoes just a little tighter than normal, as if to express the firmness of my resolve in these knots. When I decided to murder Satoko's uncle, I was in such a state of excitement I almost went crazy. And when I was planning out the act of a murder, which went directly against all the morals fostered in me thus far, I was in such a state of calm, I almost thought I had lost my emotions. And then, yesterday, when I learned Satoshi had made exactly the same phone call as me, I didn't know how to describe the muddled feelings I had then. And now, entering today, right now I lacked all the emotions I'd possessed until now. To make a simple analogy, it was the kind of feeling you might get right after you wake up when you're still half asleep and you don't feel anything very clearly. I had no anger towards that man for violence he'd committed against Satoko. Nor did I feel sadness towards or sympathize with her. I felt no discontent towards my friends who had just waited and watched, never reaching out with any help. And no nervousness or fear towards the day that had finally come.
Ties his shoes.
Murderously.
Just standing there.
Menacingly.
Very Toyota-ton, man. Every day will be Toyota-ton.
When you just can't help, but on a molecular level, you just murder. You know, the sales start in Trucktober and continue through Truckvember. You won't see deals again like this until next Truckuary or Trarch. Something like that.
Kind of works.
Yeah. My favorite holiday early in the year. It's not really a holiday, but kind of to me. Truckentine's Day.
And my favorite letter is Trax.
Is it now? Yes.
Yes, it is.
Right now, you could say I was in the best possible condition for carrying out a murder. When it came down to it, I would probably need to let my violent emotions take control. But right up until that moment, I would be like an insect. I would slowly, surely, and silently move towards my one objective. And then, when I had my prey, I'd attack it like a bullet.
I'm really sorry, but I read prey as P because I was first thinking,
Prey as P?
I'm like an insect. Then I was already thinking of a cicada. And then I saw the prey as P, and I'm just imagining Keiichi hanging in a tree.
As a cicada violently pissing on Teppei?
Yes. But then the P is like acid and it just dissolves. Problem solved.
It's like the Pokemon that Clauncher is based on. A shrimp mantis. Mantis shrimp? Mantis shrimp. Keiichi is laying like a cat loaf in one of the trees. Pants down to the ankles, and he just chucks gallons of water and tea and whatnot. And he waits until Teppei is just in distance. He whips out his jiggly bits and just pees like he's never peed before. It's like, you know, in Dragon Ball, some characters have that move. It's like a Kamehameha, but it's this like super small, thin beam, but it has all the power behind it. It's like,
the next shot, you see him splay backwards against the tree while a hole forms in his stomach where he was it.
I think you use those in like heavy machinery to cut like steel and stuff. A super hyper pressure water gun. I don't know the term for those. I forgot. But you've seen videos of that before.
Yeah,
where they use
know.
like the super pressured water to like cut steel and stuff, and that's gonna be Keiichi's penis.
Next director of Alien, write that down.
Do it.
That's gonna be Alien 16. How many movies are there by now?
12, I think.
I've seen 4 of them.
You've seen the good ones. Like a fucking Mortal Kombat fatality. Yes, exactly.
I don't know why I read that as Mario Kart.
Same, but I knew it couldn't be that.
Why? If it makes sense. Is it Mario Kart or Mortal Kombat?
It's Mortal Kombat because Mario Kart doesn't have fatalities.
Yeah, but now it
fatalities
does.
specifically are moves in Mario Kart. In Mortal Kombat.
I feel like...
The blue shell counts as fatality.
Yeah, and triple red shell if you all get hit by them as well
Fatality.
is basically fatality too.
Meh.
I'm
I
just
think
saying.
this is how Baki the Grappler works. Oh, Dark Lord, why did you have to remind me?
What's that?
Well, you've seen the anime, at least some of it. It's on Netflix.
From Baki, yeah.
But, okay, I actively...
We have seen that.
I actively don't care for it, so I'll be nice. Spoilers. Spoilers for Baki. If I recall correctly, and I think that's what Dark Lord is hinting towards, there is a scene where the big bad evil guy, forgot his name, I think he's the father of Baki.
I'm surprised you still remember.
I've seen that one frame of a manga a lot, and it haunts me. So, if I recall correctly, Baki is in jail for some reason, or like beat up, so he's like sitting against a wall on the ground like this, and he can't move because stuff. And there's this bad guy, the grandfather apparently, thank you Skinner, and they have this talk about like, I don't know, power and shit, who cares. But in that manga panel, he just pisses on his face.
Makes sense.
When I was reading the speech bubble, I think, but the moment I realized he's just standing there whipping out his schlong, peeing on this guy, I'm like, that's enough. I don't need more.
That's it.
No, I didn't need that, but now that I have it in my brain, I'm good. I can never. We've watched that one season of Baki that was on Netflix like 5 years ago. I can never go back to a franchise. Like it's actively ruined for me.
There's another season out, I believe.
Multiple. Multiple.
That I don't know. When Mario ripped out Luigi's spine, I lost my shit. That you can only see that if you play on the Nun family version.
Yeah, but I think that's a spin-off. Adults only. Yujiro, that's not it. Then I don't know which one you're going for. Just remember the factors into strategy, and he envisions it as some form of, and I quote, piss tetrahedron.
That sounds fancier than it should.
You see, he is part cicada that goes high pressured super soaker, exactly, King Force. Yeah.
How do you return now?
To the real world? You don't.
You Ichiru.
You just keep going.
Even if you say it, that won't say anything to me anymore. I remember, but I also don't.
Baki is not for me. There was no emotion in that. Just the creeping mindset insects possessed. That sort of sneaking feeling was just the best. I would kill Satoko's uncle like he was a worm. I had to laugh a little bit at thinking that way, thinking like an insect.
Duck.
I tightened my laces one more time and walked out the door. I brought the shovel out of his front storeroom. I would need it to dig the man's grave. The shovel was a convenient one made for camping. If I twisted it like so and split it into three, I could easily hide it in my bag. I twisted the shovel and dismantled it. And even though I'd done it countless times before, I had trouble for some reason. Like I was suddenly clumsy now. I knew why. It wasn't because I was nervous. My weak-willed self deep within me, was hesitant. I knew that the act of dismantling this shovel was the first step I'd take to becoming a murderer. Oh! The last twist was conspicuously difficult, but it finally submitted before the strength of my determination. The area around Satoko's house was outside my circle of activity. But even just riding my bike in the middle of a day like this might seem suspicious to an observant person. I definitely want to avoid meeting and talking to someone I knew. With that in mind, I chose the route to my destination carefully. I didn't mind going the long way around. With how long this day would be, I could never be too careful after all. Still, I was fortunate enough not to run across anybody on my way to the planned site of a crime. I wasn't superstitious at this point, but it was a good omen. The place I would dig the hole was in this grove a little further into the woods. I was worried I might not make it to the same place as before, since there were no signs to guide me, but arrived there smoothly and as expected. I took another look around. Not even a hint of human presence. The air was a little bit damp, but it was comfortable in the cool shades of a tree. I took the disassembled shovel out of my bag and began skillfully putting it together. Then I stuck the tip of a shovel into a soft-looking patch of ground and pushed on it with my foot. The shovel would split into the earth if I put some strength into that foot. The act of doing so seemed awfully like the point of no return, and it made me hesitate. I was just digging a hole with a shovel, but it made me gulp hard. Calm down, Keiichi Maebara. Let's do a countdown. Get it done on the count of 3, okay? Alright. 1, 2. I couldn't do it on the countdown despite it just being sticking the shovel into the ground. And I had to count down 5 or 6 times. Damn it, I'm just digging a hole. This is pathetic. As I thought that, I put strength into my heel like I was stepping on something unpleasant, and split came the sharp noise. Oh. Oh. It was only soft at the beginning. Roots and stones quickly got in my way, informing me just how hard it was to dig a hole big enough for a person. No decent person would ever come here anyway. Maybe it would be enough to cover him up with some dirt. Every time an E thought like that crept into my mind, I bit down on it with my teeth and dug even harder. I've dug enough now. I could hide him like this. Every time I thought that I would go down into the hole, grow disappointed at how shallow it was, and return to digging. A thin layer of sweat on my brow eventually formed into drops and fell to the ground. My back was in even worse shape. My damp shirt adhered to my skin and it felt so disgusting. The things I couldn't stand the most were the mosquitoes. Maybe they were attracted by the scent of my sweat. The white and black striped mosquitoes would cling to me whenever I let my guard down. It was hot. It was disgusting. I was sticky. I was itchy. All those uncomfortable feelings surged through me in waves.
It's just like that Shia LaBeouf movie Transformers.
Yeah, he's in that. I forgot about that.
I don't get the Transformers part.
Shia LaBeouf is in Transformers, in the first few movies.
What does he look like again?
He's the just do it guy.
Oh yeah, but what? I still don't get the Transformers. Oh, because of that. Oh, never mind. I get it.
Dark Lord, please explain for people.
Yeah, no, I get it now. I have to think. It's Friday evening, it's late.
Damn it all. So what? Are you telling me to pack up and go home? Is that it? I hadn't yelled at anyone. It was me talking to myself, me telling myself something. Why was I feeling this way and digging a hole all the way out here? What benefit would digging this hole give me? What harm would there be in not digging this hole at all? Wait, in the first place, who ordered me to dig? When I thought it over, maybe ever since grade school or even before that, my whole life had only been me doing what other people told me to. I didn't mean it was somehow constrained, living a life just based on the commands of others. And I didn't mean I was too lazy to try and find my own road in life. Metaphorically speaking, yes, it was like a road. I'd never been particularly physically fit. I didn't hit puberty very early, and if all my classmates and I got in a line, I'd usually be on the shorter end. My scores in jump rope competitions and marathons were the very picture of average. And it wasn't like the captains of the dodgeball teams would have a passionate rock-paper-scissors contest to see which would get me. During those kindergarten and school or grade school years, it felt like someone was only worth how fast they grew and how fit they were. Looking back on it now, it was really uncomfortable for me. The thing that turned all that around was just a few words from my mother.
Keiichi, would you like to go to cram school? You'll better grasp what you're learning in school and it will be more fun.
The very first test I took at cram school was kind of like a game. It was a lot of fun. It wasn't like the tests with the same exact problems dozens of times in a row. Every question had a picture to it, almost like one of those puzzle books that came with manga magazines. If my studies at school had been like this, it would have been way more fun. Several days later, I went to the cram school again with my mother and the enrollment paperwork. Mom and the person at the cram school had a really long, heated discussion, so I accidentally dozed off and missed most of what they said. But I clearly remember one point. Mom had made a loud groan, surprised at something.
By 61? Do you mean his average score was 61 points?
No, not at all. No, not at all, Ms. Maebara. The deviation from the mean of all our cram schools across the country is 61. He's showing extraordinary numbers, even on a simple intelligence test. First, I would like to say that Keiichi Maebara is extremely bright.
Keiichi? Bright?
Maybe if he stands...
What?
Maybe if he stands directly under sunlight, but I don't think he's very bright.
But he doesn't have very good grades at school. He has average marks on his report cards. B's, C's, D's. Is there some kind of mistake?
We cross-checked with several tests as well, and we learned some very interesting things as a result. Maebara-kun is extremely weak when faced with questions that don't have any meaning. He just has no interest in simple, dull questions that don't have to do with everyday life. So
even if he doesn't know what 2 plus 3 is, if you told him he had 2 apples, then got 3 more, he would understand that sort of question?
That's right. For example, instead of telling him to draw a flattened foldable cube, what if we asked him what a die would look like when cut open? If we did that, he can answer beautifully. Then the person from the cram school showed her a page from one of the exams I took. It was a paper with questions about construction. Construction questions were unusual, so they were really cool, weren't they? In this question, it asks to draw an unfolded regular icosahedron, a shape with 20 faces. When we rephrased it and asked him how he would cut a piece of cardboard to create a 20-sided die, Keiichi-kun drew the answer as though it were easy. This is not something an average child can do.
Keiichi? Have you ever made a die with 20 sides from a magazine extra or anything?
Dice only went from 1 to 6. I never even considered before this test that there were dice with more than 6 sides. Keiichi would love playing pen and paper Dungeons and Dragons with a d20. So it was fun to imagine what kind of shape a die that went up to 20 would have. If I had a die like that, I could win at Snakes and Ladders against everyone.
That is true.
So I immediately wanted to make it. Finally, I entered cram school. There were only 4 students in the class they put me in, which was called Select. You know what the opposite class to this is called?
What?
Starred. If you unfortunately grew up with the PlayStation 4 era of consoles, you wouldn't remember start and select buttons because they don't make them anymore. But when I was no, I think it's like share and options or whatever on PlayStation at least. If you are as old as me, you will remember that every gamepad, usually in the middle, had two buttons, select on the left and start on the right. And some games wouldn't even allow you to go through a menu with the up and down or left and right buttons, but you had to actively press select to select something.
I do not remember select and start being gone from controllers.
Don't have a PlayStation 4 controller here, but you mean the back button? Yes, there. Not select and start anymore. Those are menu buttons now.
Oh, yes.
Xbox controller.
They're still on the Nintendo controllers. So Nintendo sticks to the way.
It's plus and minus now.
That's only on the Switch.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's what I'm saying. Newer consoles don't do it. Or does the...
I mean, fair, true.
On the Joy-Cons, it's plus and minus.
What about the Pro?
That I don't know. I think it's plus and minus there as well. And a home button to get to the main menu.
I'd see a Pro controller. Maybe they had to change the names because of a patent. Well, if you think about it, start and select maybe doesn't make as much sense anymore.
I would hope that you cannot patent something as common, as colloquial as the words start and select for buttons. Because, like, selecting something with a button press is, like, obvious. And starting something with regards to software or video games is also like it's right there. It just makes sense. But could be. I've never actually looked into it. Maybe I should.
Same. I never even noticed.
You don't even know where the buttons are on a gamepad you've been playing with for 10 years.
Those buttons I can find.
Which one is the A button on the Xbox controllers?
The West one.
No, the down one.
Oh.
Yeah. It's usually the design of a controller that's trademarked. Yeah. They already patented controller designs, if I recall correctly. Yeah, I think the shapes, the designs, those are patented, but not specifically that a button is labeled select and start. But hey, I'm gonna look into it. I think you might have a point.
Xbox has the nicest controllers, I gotta say. But I do think the shapes itself.
Have you ever tried a PS5 controller? Because I haven't yet.
No. They seem a bit... They don't look nice though. They seem slicker. Does that make sense? But I really enjoy the Xbox ones.
Probably got changed because most games had press start to begin, but you could actually press any button on a lot of games, and nowadays it will just say press any button.
Yeah.
Unless you're Nintendo, who has a weird fetish for going press the two back buttons at the same time to start the game.
Well, if you need both of them to work, it makes sense to press both. Because otherwise you only press A, and then you don't know if the other controller works.
Then why don't they just go through controller checkup on the
I
entire
don't know,
screen?
but it makes sense.
Press A to start, now press B to start, now press X to start, now press...
Who wants to press that many buttons? No one. It doesn't make sense. That's why we don't let you design it.
Sucks for most of the patent gameplay mechanics, yes. That should be illegal. At least when it's like super obvious stuff. Like the arrow pointing you in the right direction when you play Crazy Taxi. That's true, it's patented.
Yeah, I know, but...
Or Bandai Namco has the patent on loading mini-games while loading the main game. That's why other companies cannot let you play a game on the loading screen while the actual game is being loaded without paying for it.
That stuff I find stupid as hell. It's not the actual gameplay mechanic, that's patented, it's the coding.
I'm not sure about that because Warner Brothers also owns the rights to the Nemesis system for... Exactly. Because of the coding? Okay. Sanity Mechanic from Eternal Darkness was patented by Nintendo.
That for real?
Nintendo, please, if I ever have one wish, take Pokemon away from Game Freak and release the sanity mechanic from Eternal Darkness. That was the coolest thing about the game.
That was kinda nice, yeah. But I feel like these are things that shouldn't be able to be patented, because you can do so many different things with that.
I feel like you can patent them, but the price should be super cheap. It should be affordable enough that other companies do it.
Don't have an exclusive right to it.
Yeah, I mean, just go like...
That makes more sense.
I mean, if it's something disgusting, like, okay, we want 1% of your sales. No. But if you go like, okay, well, you pay us 20 grand for the right to use the sanity mechanic. I feel like that seems fair. Don't know how much a video game makes, but you know. What about the Goji system or the zapping system? What? Believe you that those are things, but what?
How long is a patent valid?
Too long.
Isn't that quite a lot of years?
I don't know.
Suddenly I don't remember how old Eternal Darkness is.
I was on GameCube, so 20-something years. Meanwhile, it was the highest class, and some of my classmates were in lower classes. And when I remembered how much better they had done at things like dodgeball and the 50-meter sprint, I felt happiness well up within me for the first time. Even if I wasn't as good at them physically, I triumphed over them in other ways.
You said it right.
Yeah, that was a typo, right?
Yeah.
It was fun at first. The more I did, the more I was praised. My teachers at school suddenly started pampering me, and it felt good. My parents were satisfied too. And I enjoyed seeing them satisfied. The more I listened to my parents' commands, the more fun things got. That did happen, didn't it? I grinned dryly in self-deprecation. Because, well, my studious lifestyle didn't end up lasting very long. It was only at the beginning I enjoyed learning more and more. I gradually got along less with my friends. My classes were behind what I was learning in cram school, and I eventually stopped respecting the teachers, given that they could put me to sleep with their lectures. And, well, I was a disagreeable sort who bragged a lot about how much I knew. And the ways of the world wouldn't let me remain in that state of ecstasy forever. You know what's funny? In a way, I was exactly the same as a kid. Back when I was very little, whenever I remember having dinner or breakfast as a kid, the TV was always on. Because my dad and my mom just liked having a TV on, I guess. But whenever I was there in the room, they, whether actively or by chance, would put some sort of documentary on. Like those edutainment shows specifically made for kids. Like, oh, look, here's a cute little animation. Oh, by the way, do you know how clouds work? You know, water vaporizes and then it forms into clouds, and then the rain happens and then the water evaporates again. It's a cycle. Stuff like that. And it was on, and that seemed interesting. And so very early on, kindergarten, first, second grade school, I was told, similar to this situation that Keiichi just described, teachers would talk to my parents, or they would tell me oh, Jack, you're so gifted. You are farther than others. In your studies. Further? One of the two. You're so smart. You are gifted. And I started believing that to a degree. To the point, I distinctively remember at some point my parents arguing with the teachers, and then a little bit at home, and then talking to me about how would you like to skip a year of school? I'm like, I don't know. I was 5. I don't have any feelings on it. I asked them what that meant, and they're like, well, you would already be 1 year further in school, and you would learn these more advanced things, and because you're learning faster than the others. I'm like, but what about my friends? Yeah, no, those are in the other class. It's then I don't want it. So I didn't. And that kind of kept going for a while. And that followed me because my grade school teacher, early on the teachers that I had would speak to the teachers that took over the class in the 3rd, 4th grade, whatever. So I was told, even in class, in front of others, that I was gifted and that I was such a fast learner and stuff. The problem was that I had to eventually come to terms with too. I wasn't. I really wasn't. By the time I finished high school, my marks were exactly average. There were things I was really good at, like English, and there was stuff I suck at, like political sciences. What I did have was some worldly knowledge I happened to absorb watching TV during breakfast and dinner.
I mean...
So maybe I was far for my age because, we only deal with this stuff 2 years from now. But I wasn't gifted, I just knew that already. Like, being gifted might give you a heads up, but at some point you actually have to put an effort regardless. Yes, and specifically for me, I wasn't gifted. This didn't come easier for me. I have some talents, but not generally. I remember at one point later on, like in high school, a teacher gave me back a test. No, not a test. Was it a test?
Exam?
Yeah, an exam, but we had to do like some creative writing exercise. And he told me, this would have been a B plus on A minus, depending, but I know you can do better, so I gave you a C. I was so taken aback. Like, if I could have done better, I would have. Like, whatever advantage I might have had at the beginning just evaporated by the time the things I had already learned, like, got picked up in school, and then we were all on the same level. But I was never further ahead past that point. I just knew a couple things already.
Yeah, but at a younger age, that's harder to define, I want to say.
Yeah.
Shitty thing is to keep calling it gifted and everything is that I think at some point it might get to your head at a younger age.
And I don't blame them for doing that. They didn't mean anything negative with this to happen. But like for years throughout puberty and stuff, I was struggling with but I was told I was gifted. How am I now not good at these things? I'm studying, I'm trying to learn this, it just doesn't stick for me.
How are the others scoring higher?
Yeah, especially with math and stuff, which just became an alien language to me at some point. I'm like, but how?
To me, gifted would fall under, hey, I'm now 12 years old and I just finished university. You know what I mean? Yeah, or I'm 6 and I just built my own car.
But even then, you might be naturally talented at a specific thing, but not necessarily everything.
No, but you don't need to be gifted in everything. You can be gifted in a certain topic. But that's what I see under gifted. Like extraordinary, not just slightly being ahead or slightly being better at a certain topic or getting it more. Gifted for me is over the top.
Danganronpa. Yes, I was super high school level everything according to teachers at first, and then they learned, he's just a guy too.
But knowing your dad, he probably also didn't understand why you knew these things.
Yeah, no, my dad he isn't anti academics, but he doesn't care. He just doesn't care.
Well, he's happy with this.
My mother did though. My mother was like, "Oh, you're so smart. You need to keep studying."
Yeah, but your dad's happy with the simple things in life when it comes to those things. As long as you have a job, it's fine.
Yeah, not a bad thing. Teachers assume things based on ignorance, I think. Like when they think you're good with computers because you use one a lot. I think that's not a teacher thing, but that's a person-to-person thing. Because similarly, my dad and my grandmother think because I have a smartphone, I know how to operate any technical device ever made.
That's what my mom too. You work for a web hosting company. You must understand all of these things about
you understand
the internet,
technology,
and how to set it up. And nope, not a clue.
Yeah, I think for some people it might be ignorance. I don't know if I would put it on that for the teachers in my example, but I don't know.
Just assumptions.
Yeah. They get mad when you can't solve it. Yeah, that's the worst. That is the worst.
That's also bad teaching, though.
But you're so good with technology. Why don't you know how to operate this system? Because I'm seeing it for the first time in my life. I've looked at it for 5 seconds.
But some of these things also come from, hey, you know these things. I don't know them myself.
Yeah.
Like, it's kind of all the same, isn't it?
It's all black magic to
So
me.
if you get A, you get B.
Yeah.
Like, it all falls in the same pot. I think that's from where it comes from.
Yeah, the generalization.
Yeah.
Let's finish digging this hole.
I'm digging this hole.
Diggy, hole.
I lost the beat. Fuck. Windrose. Digging a hole. I lost the beat. How frustrating.
Dum.
It's so annoying when you know the lyrics to a song, and when you try to sing it, it's not in the right tone or beat.
For me, every time I'm trying to sing a song, when I'm like, oh, I know the song, completely off. Yeah, I know.
That's so annoying.
I'm gifted with that. I would do as I was told when I'd go above and beyond their expectations, and then they'd praised me. I was happy for that, and the cycle repeated itself like the wheels on a bike. I thought moving forward like that was how life worked, like a bicycle. When I moved to Hinamizawa, I realized just how inadequate that was. Some things happened and we started saying how moving and getting a change in atmosphere would be nice. And then my father, he had a place that he liked, that he'd gone to a few times to draw the nature. He started saying that he wanted to bring his atelier here. With me in blank amazement, they decided to move to Hinamizawa. And after that I met them, didn't I?
The nature angel Mort.
The first day after transferring here, I went to the classroom with a teacher. I thought it would seem pitiful for her to bring me in there, so I placed my hand on the door before she could, slammed it open and set foot into the room.
Clatter.
The thrilling, powerful way I opened that door was none other than my own determination to try doing my life over again. And then, within seconds, that determination took a hard counter to the face. A blackboard eraser fell on me. Plus, there was a huge rock inside. It was a supremely painful trap someone had set up. Oh, come on, Satoko was already beating me right from the first day I transferred? That frightened me. I was bewildered. The class was surprised too. I wasn't just surprised that the students in the class were all in different grades and were different genders. It was because the room felt completely different from the schools I knew. Where or are they still? I should actually finish the sentence. Were classes in Japan split by gender? Is that still a thing? Because I only have my knowledge about Japanese schools from anime and stuff, and there it's mixed. Unless you have specifically like all boys schools or all girls schools.
Yeah, I don't think that's still a thing. Except like what you said.
And as I spent more time with them, my surprise continued to grow. This fresh sense of surprise had never left my life, even to this day. Every day was a fresh new surprise. I've never had a single boring day since coming here. In my mind, I know how the sentence will go, but then it doesn't. The days were lively, spent with the other club members. We played Old Maid with cards with scratches on, the back to cheat. We let all our passions go wild during our games. We went all out as regular participants in tournaments at the toy store in town and many, many more things. Recently, during those times, there was the bento competition. It was then. That's when I saw an unexpected side to Satoko. Thinking back on it, I only ate dinner with her for 2 nights. It was such sweet, gentle time spent, and it warmed my heart remembering it even now. I realized that Satoko was pretending to be stubborn and firm, and how brave she was, part of her heart always waiting for her Nini to come home. And I vowed to become her Nini. Satoko may have been nagging and overly critical, but she knew how to take care of someone. But though it might have seemed like she was taking the lead, it was actually her way of depending upon another person. Even if Satoshi and Satoko's lives as siblings were confined by their uncle and his wife, there were still warm, sunny days. When did those sunny days all go wrong? What mistake was made? Lamenting tragedies of the past would do no good, and I told myself that so many times, but I did anyway. Keiichi, isn't that where you choose your own path? To take back that life? Nobody ordered you to do this. You decided it on your own. You don't desire anyone's praise for this. You thought it all through yourself. You'll carve it out yourself. And you'll do it now. This wasn't a path I could see very far down, not like the road parents or society could offer. It was a narrow path, dark and utterly distressing, one for which the next step would always be shrouded in darkness. But that disheartening path would keep on going forever. It was an unlimited path, and there was nowhere I couldn't travel. The kind of path only available to those able to imagine where they wanted to go. Don't be ashamed at breaking from the brightly lit paved road. In fact, feel proud that you found your very own path to walk.
You can do it! You can commit murder! Just listen to the happy music. You can stab on the beat.
If this...
Stab and scoop. Stab and scoop.
Stab and scoop. Stab and scoop. Stab and scoop. Stab and scoop. Double time. Stab and scoop. Stab.
Everyone can do it.
Stab, stab, scoop, scoop. You watch me stab, stab, watch me scoop, scoop. This would be such a beautiful moment, such a wonderful realization if it wasn't wasted on this vigilante bullshit. You can commit murder too, it's just the dark path, but you'll forge your own path.
Keiichi likes to be dramatic, we all know that by now.
And I hadn't discarded the paved road either. Once I achieved my goal, I would go back to that bright road. And then I'd spend those average sunny days at my leisure.
I would say, let's save here. Add the crush.
I hate it when my crush is making me save the game here.
He's probably still gonna spend a while digging this hole, talking to himself, thinking about life.
What's funny to me is, going from my own experience with that I mentioned earlier, the gifted kid. He is convinced, Keiichi is convinced that he is smart. Maybe not necessarily smarter than others because he had the whole epiphany like, oh, there are other people and they have qualities that I can look up to, so I don't see myself just better than the others, but at least with those 4 people, I'm their equal. We're different, but equal.
I was gonna say, I haven't seen a single thing where I would say he believes he's smarter.
No, but he mentioned that about the other people in class, like how he started fighting with them and the teachers because he just felt different from them. And I feel like in the writing, beautifully done if that's what they were going for. If not, then it's completely lost on me. This cockiness, this level of arrogance still is kind of there. When he goes, oh yeah, I'll just quickly dig a hole here, then I grab my baseball.
That's underestimating how big of a hole you need to dig.
Let me finish, it's not about the hole. It's not about the hole, let me finish. Kanye. I'm just gonna quickly dig my hole. Oh, that's harder, but it's fine. I'll just quickly dig the hole, then I'll grab my metal bat, and then I kill Satoko's uncle, and then I'll go back to living a beautiful, happy life without ever thinking about this.
But that's every teenager, with everything they do. And still me, sometimes.
Yes, and that's exactly what I'm saying. I think it's beautifully on point how, as a teenager or even later on in life, there is no time frame for this. If you ever go for the experience of being noticeably better than others at something, you will probably think to yourself, I'm better than the others. I'm better than the others. Yeah, I'm better than the others. And then you will come to the epiphany, the realization, I'm really not. I just have different skills. But somewhere deep inside of you, that feeling of, I know, because I know things because I'm better, is still there. That like the pendulum swings back and forth until eventually you find the middle ground, I guess. At least that's how it feels like to me. It's like, no, I'm super smart. Yeah, maybe I'm just differently smart. But this will totally be easy. I'll just kill the guy and then my life will be happy again. He doesn't have any clue about what the experience of killing another, not even just a person, but any living being can do to you.
But isn't that normal? That's why people sign up for the army.
I think, especially in the USA and other countries, people sign up for the army for economical reasons and not necessarily because they go, well, killing somebody can't be that hard.
No, but I think a lot of things in war and the army is often glorified.
Because it has
people who sign up because it's this heroic thing you
because
do
it must be.
To the country. Yeah, I get why. I get the whole reasoning why, but then you also sign up and go like, oh, this is not going to be too bad.
If in boot camp, instead of drilling you into the mold of becoming a soldier, somebody who follows orders and executes them, they would instead go with, okay, philosophy question. What do you think it means to take another person's life? I don't think...
Yeah, but you need them to do it so you don't start philosophying.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. It's specifically, in some cases, not about thinking. You're not supposed to think. You're supposed to run the run now. I say you run, you go run. Because later when I say you shoot, you will shoot. I don't need a person on the field. I need a soldier. The soldier follows orders.
Yeah, but to go back to this situation, I don't think it's all too weird.
No,
the whole going along.
That's what I'm saying. I believe Keiichi is completely wrong in his thinking. Like, yeah, let's go back because I don't think it's that easy. I've never killed anybody.
Yeah, but you don't know that beforehand. You underestimate.
Yes.
A lot of people go like, okay, I'll kill this person and I can just shut it off.
Yes.
Some can. Some do not.
Most don't. Yes.
But like he's never done it before. He doesn't know. Like it makes sense to think this way.
But I think it's funny that somebody goes, yeah, I'm really smart. I know things. I'm smart. Doesn't go the way like, should I maybe read up on what happens to people after they've killed somebody?
No. Why would you?
I don't know. Because maybe you find it interesting, or maybe you want to fully prepare your mind and body for the task you are about to willingly perform.
Especially if I think I'm smart and I know how things will go, why would I still look it up?
I 100% agree, and that's my point. And that's the pendulum swinging the way of like, yeah, I know things. I don't need to read up on this. Like, I don't need to study this. I know this. And the pendulum swings to the arrogance. Yes, I agree with you. We're saying the same things, and I'm saying this is well written.
I agree, even though I still stick to what I said in the very first chapter. It's written too long.
I feel like that's on purpose at this point.
It probably is. But for me, it's a little bit too over dramatic. Like at some point, it's like, hey, get to the point, Keiichi. Still enjoying it. But it can go on for like an hour.
I think being this deep into now chapter 3, I think there is, at least for me, a difference between experiencing Higurashi as a visual novel versus watching the anime or reading the manga. And I don't know if that's just because of my perspective or specifically because I'm reading out the lines. Because is it long? Yes. It is. It is very long. But that length makes things different to me. It makes things possible that otherwise I don't think I would feel the same way about.
Yeah, I can see why they do it, and I can also see that you need a lot of information, you want all this in-depth character.
No, not even that.
They're trying to throw you off sometimes, I think, as well, by putting all of these things in. But
Not
sometimes
even
I
that.
just feel like he goes on for too long.
Not even that. Life can be long. Exactly, Psycho, that's what I was going to say next. It gives you a lot of time to get familiar with the characters. You spend so much time in Keiichi's head that whether you agree with him or not, whether you like him or not, it does... different example. Shows that where very clearly the main character is the bad guy. Like that Netflix show about, what's his name, Jeffrey Dahmer? The guy that ate people?
Oh yeah. Monster.
Monster. The show is made in a way that we spend most of the time with the guy. Right?
Yes. It's from his point of view.
He is a monster. We can agree on that.
Yes.
He kills and eats people. That's bad. But because of the amount of time we spent with him, you begin to get familiar with him. You will still hate him, you should, you will still dislike what he's doing, but you become familiarized with it. You begin to understand things differently. It's not just reading a news article that goes, and then he ate the people. You see the little details, you see how and the why and the how he goes about doing these things. And I think that is something, I believe the manga is, because of how manga works, because you have more images, is dramatically shorter script-wise than the visual novel. And the anime, I think, is 24 episodes. So way shorter than our time playing these games already, this game.
Yeah.
You get the visual impacts and you do all of this, but how long it takes forces you to settle into it. We spend so much time with Satoko in this chapter. In the others, we've spent, even in this one, we've spent so much time with Reina and Mion. They become people.
Yeah, I get the why, but I get just as annoyed at that.
But I think that will make the ultimate... I think there's gonna be some big bang at the very end of the game. At least that's what I believe. All of this is somehow very slowly, meanderingly building up to. But I think the payoff for the whole story wouldn't in the end be nearly as big or as impactful or whatever if it wasn't this way. You could tell the story faster. I mean, for the recap on Sunday, last time we spent time with Keiichi plotting the murder of Teppei, where he would bury him, how he would kill him with a bat, bury him in a forest near the house.
That's too long already for what he's done.
And then he started digging. Like, if you boil it down to this, like 3 things happened. That's it. Oh, and we had a phone call with Mion who told us we're acting like Satoshi again. That's it. But that's not the experience. That's the check marks. That's...
Yeah, but that's what a recap is, by the way.
No, it's not.
Yes, it is.
You can't say this... You cannot say the experience of Higurashi is all of these things, but then say the recap is only you verbally checking off the boxes of... Okay, for the story to happen, these 3 things needed to happen. So check mark 1.
No, the recap is what has happened. It's not about the entire experience and the reliving, because that's not what a recap is for.
That's why my recaps are longer, but also definitely better than Tifa's.
I'm not gonna argue about recaps now.
And if you disagree and say Tifa's recaps are better, you can email your feedback to myass@myfavoritelettersx.com.
Yeah, sometimes I trim too much, I know.
That email doesn't actually exist.
I trim too much, you add too much, it makes balance.
Yeah, together we are a...
My favorite letter sex.
That is true, but we are a fully balanced nutritional meal.
Well, Jack and Tifa finally agree on recaps. Find out next time when they play Higurashi on Sunday. Same time as always.
The stream will end in 30 seconds. This isn't even my final form! The planet will explode in 29.5 seconds. What? You Super Saiyajin? The planet will explode in 28.996
Teppei will die in 1500 seconds.
1500 dog seconds. That's the only way that happens.
It's been a long time since then already.
Do you know of any other show or manga or game that has stretched out the... Oh my god, it's in 30 seconds. Ever as much as Dragon Ball?
From the top of my mind, I don't recall. I want to say nothing topped the Frieza episodes.
Actually, I know one.
In Dragon Ball. Which one?
The most obvious one, I feel like. Naruto.
Can't say because I never...
We dropped the anime
it.
because of a filler. At least with a Frieza fight, there was a fight. Stuff was happening. Our perception of time got completely skewed because it's gonna explode in 30 seconds. 30 minutes later.
30 minutes, 4 episodes.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. But Naruto, the anime at least, there's a reason why there are guides online on how to watch Naruto, skipping the pointless filler. But we actually, years ago now already, put Naruto on, and the first season is kind of like...
background music.
The pacing is kind of slow, I felt like. But then it ends with... It's not a spoiler at this point.
Some of the episodes I enjoyed. I could think, okay, I can watch this to the end.
I want to say, if I recall correctly, Season 1 Naruto ends with... Oh my god, Sasuke is running away. I, Naruto, need to help my friend Sasuke, and I need to save the world.
So wasn't it also in German?
Yeah, but that doesn't make it more filler. And then...
No, but it also doesn't make it better.
The next episode is like... Hello, Naruto! I need your help! Can you please get my cat out of a tree? And when he does that, and then the characters even will have a line like, oh, I really hope this didn't distract us from helping and finding Sasuke. And then the next episode you think, okay, but now it's happening. That was just like a joke episode, right? Because, haha, things... Oh, Naruto, please, I'm trying to make ramen, but I've run out of spices. Can you go to 3 villages over and get the spices for me? And that continues for like, I want to say 2 seasons. Until eventually they remember that there was a plot.
And the next actual episode
and Naruto goes, Sakura, friends, we have to leave to find Sasuke. It's like... Bleh.
Love Bleach. I've never actually finished it. But the filler in that jumps in time and places and it's dumb as fuck. The new anime, 1000 Year Blood War, is just straight canon. Is that based on?
I haven't seen that, but if filler doesn't just do fillery things, but also goes like whoop, 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 whoop. Nah, hell no. I'm not made for it.
I think with Bleach I was on 100 something. I believe.
Yeah, you kind of stopped watching.
Yeah. Was that also in German? I don't recall. There was something why I couldn't continue.
I
don't remember. Doesn't really matter.
But it's
at some point.
Been a while since you watched.
Yeah, at some point again. Are you ready to continue this on Sunday?
For strategic reasons, I will store for another moment. Skinner, are you streaming tonight? Because if so, I'm happy to have you, but go set up when we could raid you, if it's soon-ish.
Which means within the next minute.
if your stream isn't set up within 30 seconds, Benjima is. Where's Benjima then? Oh my god. Tibbe? Oh, Thousand Year Blood Wars. Like, Tibbe? Thousand Year Blood Wars, the final part of a manga that was never animated. The animation is clean F.
Hitting ER. Oh, Elden Ring.
Emergency Room.
Yeah, that's what I was thinking.
Benjima
like he's
is
coming back from that.
Saying it now. Benjima, this was supposed to be a surprise. Sorry, I'm gonna spoil it for everybody. Benjima is doing another rating stream where he first rates every character of the hit show Emergency Room, and then every episode.
Never seen that.
My mother did. Emergency Room was part of my mother's television diet. And all I remember from it is that George Clooney was in it for a bit.
Really?
Yeah. And then she pivoted to watching Ally McBeal.
What's that? Also a show?
That's also a show. I remember thinking as a kid that the lead actress looks incredibly skinny and needs a sandwich and a hug, at least the character. Ally McBeal. American comedy drama series. Callista Flockhart.
I know the actress, even though her name doesn't ring a bell, but I have no clue about the show.
And Ally McBeal, she looked very thin. At least I thought that. Ally McBeal is an American legal comedy drama television series. Working as a lawyer in a Boston law firm.
From 1997. Okay.
Yeah. Yeah, late 90s.
Don't think I've ever seen it.
There he is. Let me check if you're lying. Ooh, he is.
Piece of candy.
That's the stream title. Ooh, piece of candy. I don't know what that refers to, but we can go ask him in a moment. So, after you
I hope this man will finally level up at least.
He has already. I feel like the best way to cleanse our palates after witnessing a 15-year-old being so emotionally distraught that instead of asking his parents for help with his friend, he is plotting to execute a murder.
It's easier, no?
Yeah, is to witness somebody commit murder on other characters in a video game by playing Elden Ring, which is what Benjima will be doing tonight, and you should check out Benjima whenever it's convenient for you if you can stick around for a raid.
So let's drop it. Which means I can
Tifa, press the button too early.
What?
If you can stick around for a raid, please. We'll be back on Sunday with more Higurashi. Tifa, press the button. I'm out of my...
Thank you.